that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Okay, that should do it. Frickin' Microsoft. Oh, God, it's so irritating. All right, so that should take care of the sound. Let me make sure I can hear it. Yep, there we go. All right, okay. What an annoying thing. Just give me a recommendation for the bit rate is lower. Anyway, all right, so. All right, welcome back to the program, folks. Yeah, it's Microsoft updated, rebooted my computer without my permission last night. I didn't give permission. I hate Microsoft with a passion. Someone ought to take them to court with a class action lawsuit, and I'd happily join it because they've cost me. Now they've fixed their garbage software so that it doesn't just reboot everything. But for a while there, I was writing stuff and using text notepad, and it would just erase it all and reboot. And it says no updates unless I say. So I'm supposed to download them. So that's how I lost a laptop at Munich Airport, because Microsoft started to download without my permission and it wouldn't shut off. And I had no choice but to get on the plane. I get on the plane, it damaged my hard drive because I had to shut it down. They wouldn't let me get on the plane with it like that. So I lost a hard drive in Munich one time. Lost a laptop. Still got it, but there's bad sectors on it. I can't read it. It's physically damaged, so it kind of sucks. Anyway, yeah, Microsoft. Anyway, it's just, they're bastards. But sorry, so I said it's been a long time since we've done Night Owls here. It's been a few months. Mostly moved my Night Owls over to the other channel, the US-based channel. And just haven't done it. Anyway, so I figured it was a good time to do it today since I didn't have time to do news earlier. We can mention a few news items here. But first off, I got to say right out of the gate, folks, thanks. Appreciate people being here. But I do have a complaint. That damn groundhog. I swear, that damn groundhog, man. Oof. Puxatawny Phil. He's lucky I don't have a shotgun and I'm not up there in Puxatawny, Pennsylvania. Because just when you thought it was going to get nice and spring was coming, it's all over. That little varmint popped out and saw his shadow and ran back in the hole. And now we got 6 more weeks of winter. And oof, it's cold, man. Temperatures rainy, freezing, snow right below the freezing temperature, right at it. And it snowed earlier when I was on the broadcast, and now there's snow outside, and I just finished shoveling the snow. So I got to go shovel snow again, thanks to that damn groundhog. Anyway. Oh, I got a bone to pick with that groundhog. Anyway, back to the story here. Let's see who's in the chat. I'm going to put this up front now. There's 381 people here. Thank you all for being here. I'm really grateful so many people here. I've never had this many people ever once show up to any Night Owls, but I'm not going to pretend and to think that this is just here to see me and participate in what's going on. I think people are here just to pester about groups and about information, which there is no information for us. I'll tell you that up front. We have no information because there is none, and update you as it can be. Someone made a recommendation regarding the information group that I put together, and the reason I put this information group together not because someone created a group and my name was in it. And for the past 5 years, people respected my privacy and not harassed me and not taken upon themselves just to reach out if they didn't know me and feel it was appropriate for them to just call me or send me text messages or WhatsApp. But all that respect and decorum has gone completely out the window. Because I was included in another group and people assumed it was mine because someone put me in there and it had my name on it, I started getting bombarded with messages. So in order to circumvent that and also to prevent, because someone, initially I didn't do it for that reason. Initially I did it for the reason because someone wrote to me and correctly said, well, there's a lot of chat in there and we don't like to chat. And so this ate up a lot of my time answering questions from people whom I don't know, who had the discourtesy to contact me to complain about something that wasn't my doing. So I created a group and I limit it to just myself and my moderators. And I'm going to remind my moderators, please don't put anything in there that's not related to the information. I don't want my videos posted in there. I'm not trying to promote my content in those groups. That's not necessary. I appreciate the good intentions and thoughts by moderators, but do not do that. It's just to put information in there. You can post something if the embassies put something up there, because only moderators, myself, can do that. Anyway, but no good deed goes unpunished. My phone is I have to keep charging my battery because now it's down to 38%, and I haven't made a single phone call today. It was 100% 3 hours ago. It's at 38% because people are being discourteous, and they seem to think that I'm an immigration service for them, and that I'm offering them free information and services, and that I'm available 24 hours a day to answer their me questions. I'm not. I think I put more than enough effort in for free to help people out, and I'm very patient, very courteous. I think it's beyond the height of disrespect and inconsideration to call me when you don't know me and pester me for things. So a lot of you are going to find out, those people I normally in contact with, that I'm not as responsive as normal because I have to wade through 40 or 50 messages before I find one from you. So for instance, I didn't have any videos this morning other than the live feed because I was pestered by about 50 people putting stuff in WhatsApp, and I didn't see videos that people sent me because it was so far down. Whatever. I guess there's a cost to being a nice guy. It's all right. The Telegram group can hold 200,000 people. So there's a Telegram group now, and people can join. You can go over there, and it's the same standard. Only my moderators and myself. So if you're looking for a chat session, it's the wrong place to be. If you're looking to find out verified information from the U.S. government, from the American embassy, from potentially even the South African government, or analysis from me, that's what you'll find in those groups. All right. So I hope that clarifies things a little bit, and I will talk about it a few more times. But yeah, anyway, so, all right, let me get back to say hello to everybody in the chat on this Night Owls. Bill Ding, what's up with you? And then Cameron Booth, my eyes are bothering me. That's why I'm sounding a little groggy here. Wish I could contribute more to him, but I'm unemployed. Cameron, let me be very clear about this too. For those who are new here, if you don't have money, if things are tight or things are rough, please do not give money to my channel. Now, how many businesses are going to tell you, please don't give me money? Okay. Maybe Catholic Charity will tell you that, but not many businesses will tell you, please don't give me money if you don't have money. I don't want anyone to put themselves in a difficult situation. Now, if it comes down to donating my channel or Friday night Hookers and Blow, I'd suggest you make a donation here instead of Hookers and Blow. I'm just saying. Marissa Besselar, welcome to you. Troiko says, I've never seen such commitment or such sacrifice for a cause that no one else wanted to touch. Well, thank you very much. Well, and my reward is to be harassed and abused by people. There are several people who just me attention stuff that, and I don't see it or don't answer it, and then they send me nasty messages. I mean, the cheek of people. I don't know who you are. I didn't write to you. I didn't invite you. I didn't ask you anything. You send me a message, and you're one of a bunch of people that send messages, and, I have other responsibilities. I don't see it. So then you get bent out of shape, and by the time I find a message, you're basically, telling me to footsack and tell me which way to go. People are funny. They're really funny. They're really, really funny. All right. Don't know how many thoughts. We have a second, but it's quite an amazing number. Just to pin down the appropriate sequence of those who really need a pencil and piece of paper. What's that, Tony? Marika van Jasveld. That's a cool name. Welcome to the program. Annalie Botema, welcome back to you. Who else we got here? Almost 500 people on this. Critical Reviewer, welcome back. Hendo put the links in there. The Veil. Yes. G. Sawyer. Gerardo Steenkamp. Armageddon. Cool. Leslie Ann Moon. Marissa. Did anyone see the story about the asteroid? Yes, I've seen that story. I talked about it a few days ago. Don't lose any sleep. The odds are, it's probably more likely that the ANC will admit that they're fools before that thing would ever hit Earth. Ain't gonna happen. Venetia Rind, welcome to you. Neil Spritz, welcome back. And De Blixem. Okay. Vilma Rasmus, there's an OG. Mr. Punish, and there's an original one from the channel too. Mr. Punisher disappeared a lot. Busy person. Jan Luminger, did anyone see a video of Ernst Rutz today? I did not. I saw that the James Webb Space Telescope is being adjusted there. Remember, we covered that here when the James Webb launch took place, and I covered it going into the point, the Lagrange 2 point where it went out in space. We covered that. It was pretty cool. And I used music that YouTube said was licensed. So I played that in the background. I made a loop of all the music. And then I got harassed after that. Well, this song is not. It's copyright. You can't have that. You can't have that. You told me it was not copyrighted. YouTube. Perniskis, you little bastards. Louisa Rautenbach. Cannot wait for the Colonel to keep us dead with everything that's okay. Terethra. Hendrik Kupitis. Matthew Dixon. Oh, Matthew, did you enjoy that Sharks game? Did you, Matthew? Did you have fun there, Matthew? Let's just be honest. The rugby today sucked. I don't care if you're a Sharks fan or if you're a Lions fan. The rugby sucked today. It just sucked. It sucked buttermilk. Hut full for me. Welcome to you. Tim Martins. Kristen. Armand, good evening to you. And Cool is crying because I'm playing Afrikaans music. Did you miss the purpose of this network? Sorry you don't like Afrikaans music. I've always played Afrikaans music since 2020 when I first started this channel, and I had permission from the artists to play the music. And even though I tell YouTube I have that permission, they constantly give me copyright claims. I have to fight them. Please see if you can get permission from Book from Blair. Charmaine Hussein, I appreciate the idea. I tried to interview Book from Blair in 2020, and it's impossible. I know people that know Book from Blair who are professional artists, and it's impossible. He's one of those people who doesn't deal with people. At least that's my experience. He only, just like, unfortunately, Juanita Duplessis and her kids, they only go through their agent, and their agents are very uncooperative and very unhelpful. When artists were prevented from doing concerts, which is where they really make money at concerts in 2020, I offered to let people come on and interview artists to keep them in the attention so people knew who they were and they check their music out, if they had the projects they're working on. And very few artists were even remotely interested. I had to go through their agents, and most of the agents were very rude and disrespectful. I even had a commitment from a certain musician who promised to come on my channel, who shall not be mentioned, at least for the moment, who's very well known, and she agreed to come on the channel, and her mother is her agent, and I went live. And they just didn't show up. So embarrassing, so embarrassing. I will never forgive that artist or her useless mother. Anyway, they just used me. They're just turds. I don't know what their problem was. This is before anybody even knew who I was. So anyway, whatever. So what else you got? There's a member. Edwin Moodley, thank you for becoming a member. Kevin Ziller's been around for a long time. Sue Walsh, welcome back to you. Dylan Combrick has been here for ages. Welcome, Dylan. Anita Chos, welcome. Malcolm Marx, Afrikaans music is cool. I said Malcolm Marx. Sorry, it's Michael Marx. Bones, thank you once again for your show and all the effort. You're very welcome. Die Lewe is een Lied. Life is a Lied song. What the hell? What's going on? Oh, my goodness. Are we going to have some kind of weather thing going on here now? It says I'm connected to the internet, but YouTube says I'm not. I wonder if I'm still connected. If you're wondering if it was buffering, it probably pretty much was buffering. No doubt about it, folks. I have no doubt that it was buffering. So let me see. All right, so I'm going to look and see if I'm still live or if I'm just, you know, a nutter talking to myself. Could very well be a nutter at this point. Yeah, I guess I'm a nutter. Yeah, it says I'm not connected. There we go. I guess I'm a nutter. Yeah, it's on my end, folks. So we're in a snowstorm, and they must have knocked the line out or something like that. All right, yeah, I guess people left. How long was I out? Wow, I went from 500 down just like that. 514 or fourth. Boy, talk about fickle people. Wow, you just left in a heartbeat like that because I got lost for a second. Man, wow, that tells you a lot. That tells you an awful lot. Oh man, oh man, oh man. Okay, so anyway, wow, a lot of people disappeared. Almost 100 people in less than a moment. Carl says the government SU is a joke. A lot of people feel that way. And Charles Davids, most in touch individuals sound that. Well, thank you very much, Charles. Wi-Fi connection sucks tonight. Yeah, well, apparently, my internet connection, which is hardwired, kind of sucked. Chris Ehlers, Cornell Combrick, welcome back. John, the only Afrikaans music is the Antwoord. Okay. Good evening, Gavin Nickel. Junice runs. Sadly, everybody speaks Afrikaans. Andre Bietke, 14 Rand. Check your DMs. Okay, Andre. What DMs? Thank you for the super chat. You did this to me the other day. What DMs? Where? In Twitter, in X, in YouTube. I mean, where? What DMs? What are you talking about? In WhatsApp and Twitter and Telegram, Signal. What? Okay, El Marie Meyer, everyone from Popo. Okay, now I've lost my timestamps. Okay, are we back up to 500? Nope. 487. I don't know where people went. Boy, that's very fickle. Anyway, by the way, I made a video this morning before I went to bed, which I never really did, which isn't doing very well, but I did get 78 subscribers from it. And then I said, only poor Afrikaners go to America. In fact, I'm not an Afrikaner, I'm not a South African, but I'm feeling very insulted that the people who are talking about the story are rubbishing people and painting everybody as poor. First off, it's an insult to the poor to go only the poor people, because what you're implying is something that's inappropriate. Having lived in poverty as a kid through no making my own, that poverty was a consequence. As I was a child, I had control over it. I've never lived in poverty as an adult because I learned lessons from how people. Thank you for the super chat there. Brenda Opperman, 70 Rand. Thank you so much for that. So I made the video to make a point. There are a lot of people saying, well, yeah, the only people going to go are the poor whites, living in the camps. Lisa Rautenbach, thank you for becoming a member. Yeah, it's very inappropriate and disrespectful. And people that don't even realize they're saying that ought to check their I hate the phrase privilege because I don't believe there's such thing as privilege. I think that's just bullshit that people who are envious and jealous make up. Privilege is no such thing. You can say that, but I guess those are people of privilege who have it good and don't empathize with those who don't have it so good. Louisa says, can't wait for me to bring high spirits high. Okay, Louisa. Okay, hopefully I can do that. And there was a no sound. Thank you all for that. I got a bunch of no sounds. Again, it's the software. I didn't realize it had done that. Thank you all. Okay. All right, Rebecca van der Walt, Francois van Tonda. That's a name I've seen before. Okay. Helen Hayes. Welcome, Helen. The Wixie Pixie. Jurgens Rhodes, welcome to you. Dollinger's been around here for a long time. They're episodic, or at least in the chat, episodic. Kieran Moodley, welcome back. Malcolm Marks. Tim Martins, Fred Rayleigh, Congo Chris, Andre Duplessis, Napoleon Dynamite. Okay. Etienne Mare, time to move to Linux. Linux isn't going to cut it either. Forced updates, yeah, that ought to be a class action lawsuit. And I know why Microsoft finally got their act together and saved all your work, because they were in trouble. They were going to be sued. Radiation King, they were going to be sued because so many people lost so much productivity. I know that I would work on multiple things and have documents open and files, and they just wipe it all out, and it really pissed me off. But anyway. Yeah, the European leaders are very angry about J.D. Vance when he said Pistorius, the German minister, ran his mouth and said how inappropriate it was. But the reality is that the German government's a censorship government. Look how they're terrified. Look, isn't it ironic? They're at this conference and they're complaining about what J.D. Vance said about him saying that there was censorship regime, and these are the same people, the Germans, that are threatening to arrest Elon Musk for people using free speech on Twitter. And then they deny it. And they get up. It's unbelievable. Windows 7. Wow, that's a while back. Garrett Paz, Congo Chris, Armand. Of course, 100 people might have left because they thought I wasn't going to answer their questions. Almost choked on drinking coffee when I saw an ex who started following me and followed back. I'm still a little shocked. Okay, well, I don't know who's following me. I haven't paid attention. Billy David says, hope you had some rest. Yeah, I had a little bit of rest. Thank you for that. Europe is being destroyed by fear. South Africa is being destroyed by fear. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Okay, they're poor. We don't our refugees to show up in BMWs. The guys trolling us, everything happening here should be identified and placed on the blacklist, so when the cock really hits the fan, they can't go to the U.S., says Fosbury. I can't wait for the refugee program to start, says Armand. EU is already a censorship state. Yeah, exactly. Wonder what ANC will say at the summit. John Mostline, thank you for your 100 Rand, John. John V. Gates. John, of course, somebody whom I actually met and seen in person. Very, very pleasant gentleman, hosted me. Lovely. Enjoyed my time there. Probably just refreshed their connections to check if it wasn't them. Oh, that could be it too. We'll see. If people are back. The test will be now because it's been a couple minutes. And yeah, okay, we're back to 541. Well, okay, nobody left then. Cool. All right, thanks for being here. Tony Zacharias, Europeans and socialism are pathetic. I agree. All right, Roxy, welcome to you. Conrad Huttonil, welcome to you. All right, guys, so there, we're up to date. So again, I'm really angry at that stupid groundhog. I mean, I like snow. I like the cold, but I don't like cold, wet snow with its, hey, Sullivan Fund him have 140 Rand. Well, you guys are making me ring the bell today. Thank you for that. That's your first super chat ever. Thank you for that. All right. The idea of media umbrella statements. Yeah. USA could actually win the next Rugby World Cup. Oh, Armand says, sorry, when you went down, we went down. It was a global strike. Did we get EMP, electromagnetic pulse running through there? Congo Chris says it's Groundhog Day again. Isn't that redundant, though? Groundhog Day again? Anyway, Chris, would you be eligible, interested in being... Yeah, Moby Thick, I'm very eligible to be an ambassador. And I'd be happy to do it. Unfortunately, I'm not politically connected. I'm not wealthy, and I'm not in Donald Trump's orbit. Donald Trump picked a multi-millionaire handbag maker, Lana Marks, to be the ambassador last time, and we saw how well that went. She ignored what was going on in South Africa. Jacques Debus, and she was just a figurehead. And he picked her as a payback because she was a wealthy, connected friend. Now Joel Pollak is apparently the front runner, people are claiming, and everyone's talking him up from Biz News to, people all over the place talking up Joel Pollak. Even my viewers talking about Emil Thert, 24 months, 50,000. Well, I hope it's coming. Everybody's talking up Joel Pollak, and Joel Pollak is a fine guy. Nothing for or against Joel Pollak, but Joel Pollak is yet another person who came from South Africa, and they're going to send the person who came from South Africa to be our ambassador, represent America to South Africa. I think there's a problem with that. Lana Marks was not an appropriate choice. And I don't think it's appropriate to send somebody that's not from a place. And you're going to say, but wait a second, Chris, Joel Pollak's American. Yeah, he came here as a toddler or a 4-year-old, something like that, and grew up here. Sounds just like me with a Midwest accent. But anyway, the reason he's the front runner is he's a very smart guy, very articulate, very talented. But the reason he's a front runner, because there's plenty of other smart and articulate people who could fill that position, is because he's with Breitbart. And the conservative media take care of their own and keep everyone else outside the tent. Whether it's Candace Owens or it's Charlie Kirk or all of them. Boomer Core, we're literally doing entire Moza departments right now on your own. It's weird, huh? JJ Fundamental, thank you for that super chat. 20, that's a super sticker, 20 Canadian dollars. Wow, thank you for that. First stop going to be Statue of Liberty. Tired of seeing the pictures. It's not that special, man. It's a lot smaller than it looks. Actually, it's huge when you're under it, but at a distance, it looks so tiny. Silently lurking for now due to work. Thanks, Chris, for all you do. EU is a dumpster fire. Zelensky blaming Trump. Dude can't run his country. Begging bowl. Yep, you're right. Right. I've said it all along. I have not ever been one of the people that was part of the sycophantic, ooh, Ukraine. I love Ukraine. Oh, Russia bad. Ukraine good. Yay, yay, yay. Never part of it. I did say it's illegitimate and it's immoral and it's wrong for Putin to invade Ukraine. I've been upfront from that very beginning. I also said that the 7-axis operational attack into Ukraine was boneheaded and it would split the Russian forces and cause them not to be able to win. And gee, look what happened. But I've also been very clear-headed about Ukraine from the very beginning. Very beginning. Matthew said, such a good break-in for rugby. Sharks won. Major League Rugby starting. Where are the Houston SaberCats, Miami Sharks going to dominate? So excited. Well, Matthew, you probably forgot that I'm a SaberCats fan. So what are you going to do now? We agree with the same team. Chantel Fenta. Thanks. I know it's not active yet, but I thought maybe he might have some insight into previous procedures. See, that's why a lot of these people are here. They just want information. They're not here for the program. Since Trump signed the order, the Americans have been so cool and welcoming. ANC, FFM cases, on the other hand, have been go. Only the poor will go. We'll do shopping for what we want. Exactly. Ima's back. Hey, Ima. I fear Elon is steamrolling Trump. The Oval Office incident with Elon's kid was disgraceful. Elon doesn't know. Why do people have such erections over Elon Musk appearing in the White House? The Stanley Cup champions appear in the White House in the Oval Office. The NBA champions, WNBA champions show up in the Oval Office in the White House. Visiting teams and delegations from around the world go there. Private citizens go to the White House for occasions. Why are people so up in arms? What's with the hatred of Elon Musk? Again, and this, okay, let me just bring this from where it's coming from. Those of you who know me know that I'm not necessarily a fan of Elon Musk. I've criticized him, and it started with the nonsense of him, talking up drugs on the radio a few years ago. He's like, yeah, no, I'm smoking weed, There's children listening to this, children aspiring to be, do something in life on the radio. It wasn't exactly a late night broadcast. And I just thought it was inappropriate behavior. Also, for a long time, he was left of center and had some really wackadoodle, asinine, back-assward, stupid ideas. And I called him out on that. When Elon Musk put together a team to buy X, people were frothing in the mouth. And I said, first off, calm down. It isn't happening. First off, Twitter has to approve it They say they're not going to approve it. So there's going to have to come up with a way to get enough shares to put pressure on them to get them to do it. And once it's done, then the government's going to have to approve it as not make sure it's not antitrust action. And it's going to take time. Then the board has to vote on it. And the board votes on it. Then the shareholders have to vote on it. It's not going to happen for X number of months. And gee, guess who was right? And then also said when he came on, he claimed he was a free speech advocate. I said, that's not true. For a long time, he didn't restore Alex Jones' account. I don't really care for Alex Jones, but Alex Jones' account should have been suspended. And also, my Twitter account was still shadow banned, and I never had an offense, never had anything taken off. But from the outset, I mean, it's anyway. So I've long criticized Elon Musk about things, but I don't hate him. I don't talk shit about him. I don't understand what this obsession with hating Elon Musk is. You know, for all those you people that hate Elon Musk, you must have really miserable lives, and there must be something dark in your life that really just, you know, nothing makes you happy except other people being miserable. I don't understand that. Criticizing him is fine, but there's this demented thing here in the States and in the press. Elon Musk. The thing that's the most funny is, oh, my 5 pence. Hey, there's a good person I met in person up in Uppington. So this whole thing the Democrats are saying, oh, Elon Musk has access to all your information. No, he doesn't. He doesn't have that information. And so what if he did? I think I trust Elon Musk more than I trust the government. The Office of Personnel Management compromised my personal information, all my bank accounts, all my credit cards, all my loans, all my debt, all my investments, all my homes, all my addresses, my telephone numbers, my family members, all my exes, all my everything. Compromised it for 18 months and didn't even know it was compromised. And it happened 3 times, or 4 times. I've received 4 letters over the years. Okay, I can't keep saluting, folks. I'm sorry. There's too many coming in. Somebody must have given a bunch of, so I apologize, but I got to focus here. Compromised all of our information, everything, the most sensitive details, and even allegations about people in our security dossiers that just did not. I'm going to turn that off because it's even distracting me now. So, okay, now where's it at? There it is, alert box. All right, okay, thank you. Yeah, so the government did not say. These Democrats marching on the Treasury Department, marching on the Department of Education, never once did anything. They didn't even authorize and pay for identity theft protection for us. They didn't even do that. Unbelievable. And now they care about people's bit data. They don't care. They're all just liars. Just crazy people. So anyway. Haibo. Is this supposed to be Haibo? It looks like Halbo. Okay, hello there. Okay. Gerhard Duprier, any comments on the hostages released in Gaza today? I haven't seen that, Gerhard. I've been a little busy with events in South Africa and then covering rugby, so I haven't done an update. The only updates I did were looking at the South African government wants a World Bank loan. Good luck with that, boys. USAID bought from farmers to feed need, and now who will buy from farmers? Who are farmers? Is that a typo, Ima? They bought from farmers to feed. Now who will buy from farmers? You're just an unhappy person, aren't you, Ima? What are you saying? USAID bought from farmers? No. You're wrong. You're wrong. So before you spread more misinformation, USAID is not buying from farmers. The United States Department of Agriculture uses subsidies to buy excess grain or to buy things off the marketplace to keep market prices artificially high, hurting consumers in this country. So that grain is what's available, and the U.S. government takes that, and that's what USAID relies on primarily. There are times they can buy grains in a pinch. If there's something not there, they can't get it there in time. That's true. But the vast majority of food aid that comes from America through our agricultural surplus, and it is shipped down to Mississippi. And trust me, I know, Ama, very well what I'm talking about. I read a presidential daily brief for President George Walker Bush, which kept 640,000 black Africans from starving to death in southern Africa. Is this thing stopping again? What's going on? Are we disconnected again? What is going on here? Oh, my goodness. Oh, man. It says I'm not connected, is it? Is it connecting? Is it connecting? You guys say the stream is good. Okay, well, I'll take your word for it. Sorry. It's not that's not the internet connection. That's YouTube. They're having problems. So I wrote this presidential brief as an intelligence officer. I went to the president. He took action. 640,000 people didn't starve to death. 640,000 people. That's why when people come on here and play these games, they don't know who they're talking about, who they're talking to. It's comical. Anyway, that food, the reason that was necessary, and this is why I'm going to tell you, what you're talking about, is because U.S. government can't buy food and give it to people. We're not allowed to. It's illegal. They have to get the surplus food that the government has already bought. That food sits in warehouses in the Midwest and it has to be shipped on barges to New Orleans and loaded on ships and sent to Africa. That takes weeks. Can't deliver food within a couple days that way. It just doesn't happen. The only way you can do that's by air, and that would be unique, and it would have to be authorized by Congress. The food that USAID provides you is not food they're buying from farmers. That's simply not true. So who will buy the food from farmers? Well, Russians, Malians, Nigerians, Indians, Chinese. China can't feed itself. They survive on food from the United States and from Africa. Yeah. Why do you think they're renting 100,000 hectare farms in Tanzania? Because they can't feed themselves. Can you make a video on the living costs in America versus South Africa? Yappy, that's a fool's errand. I mean, because the moment I make it, someone's going to sharpshoot me. Well, no, that's not true. That's not true. I mean, every place is different. America just isn't a town. If you'd asked me to say compare the cost of living in Cape Town to the cost of living in Manhattan, that could be done. But I mean, America, this kind of, okay, so it's how the USA is different, sees values in South Africa. Look where some have landed. This government doesn't realize what they lost. That would be true, Val. Okay, heartfelt regards from Intel officers. Hey, Garrett, what's going on there? Yappy used Gemini Deep Research. It can do that easily. Okay, I hope we can get info next week. Watch out, you might end up in Oz. Australia? Oh, that's Kazo Chris. It's quite ironic how Russia and Ukraine both at war with each other, and both former Soviet countries attacked South Africa with a Cuban a proxy war. If you look at it that way, yeah. My hubby bribed me with a Brahmin calf to support the bulls. Charmaine. Jarethra Haman says, I will never side with any country during a war. I side with the innocent people. Well, Jarethra, I appreciate where you're coming from, but having been in government and at the senior levels and been an officer in the military, unfortunately, war is unavoidable sometimes because of the actions of people. Sadly, civilians always suffer, but it's sometimes simply unavoidable. You sometimes have to intervene to prevent a greater tragedy, and that's just the reality of it. And that's sad but unfortunate. I mean, perfect example of that. Let me give you an example of that, Jarethra. The world sat by and watched Sierra Leone fall apart, and the Foday Sanko and the RUF, the United Revolutionary Front, what do they call themselves? Revolutionary United Front, the RUF, in Sierra Leone, they conscripted child soldiers, kids like 5 years old, handed them guns. They forced them to beat their parents. They were forced on drugs to rape their mothers at times. And then they participated in lopping the hands off of their parents and their relatives, the adults, as a symbol to show that people shouldn't vote, to terrify people. This went on for years. The world didn't care. Sierra Leone was a former British colony. Eventually, the British intervened after the Civil War went on, and the horrific thing affected so many people. It was beyond conception what was going on in Sierra Leone. Horrific. It's one of the scariest stories of child soldiers you're ever going to hear. And then finally, the British went in there with less than 1 battalion of infantry, and in 3 weeks, the war was over. Foday Sanko and the RUF were defeated and chased away, and order was restored in less than 3 weeks. While the world sat by for years and thousands of women were scarred for life, murdered, gang raped, impregnated, infected with sexually transmitted infections, men were raped, parents were killed, lives were destroyed. It was horrible. And unfortunately, it took a military force to go in and stop that. The same thing in Cabo Delgado. A gang of bandits who were bloodthirsty, sick, twisted individuals in Cabo Delgado province in northern Mozambique who falsely claimed to be part of ISIS or Al-Qaeda or Boko Haram, whatever they decide to want to be this week. They have caused havoc beyond conception because the populace is unarmed, they're timid and weak, and the FATM, the armed forces of Mozambique, are useless, and nobody gave a crap. SADC finally went in there after Rwanda, restored a degree of peace. And it took military, unfortunately. So I appreciate where you're coming from, Jarethra, but life is not that simple. It's like, people are like, I wish we didn't have police. Well, that's a lovely utopian idea, but humans are crap, and too many of them behave poorly. I'm going to go to Kansas, okay? Virtual Western Cape, there are these two groups in South Africa, huge Elon fans and huge, well, it's the same in America, huge Elon fans and huge Elon detesters. I'm neither. I think the guy's amazing, but that doesn't mean I'm going to give him a free pass. Passive-aggressive shitty takes. You're right. There you go, Napoleon. She's always got that. Passive-aggressive shitty takes. Because Ima is not here to contribute to the conversation. Ima doesn't want to learn. Ima wants to distort and distract. But each time Ima tells a fairy tale, it gives me an opportunity to set the record straight on a topic I may not be discussing. So I'm entertaining it. All right, Victor, welcome to you. Ruan Spies, South African living in Colorado, and I'm really happy to be lucky to be here. American people are great, open and welcoming. Yeah, it's the greatest country in the world, is it not, Ruan? Sorry to get help, wife. Okay. It's sad to hear the conservative media who market themselves as different from MSNX the same way. They do. They do. I reached out to Turning Point USA years ago when they were getting started, trying to inquire, and I couldn't even become a member of it at the time. It was only for people under 30. I mean, what the hell is that? What kind of organization? How do you take that seriously? I mean, if you have only people under 30, then you have nobody with any experience. How are we supposed to take you seriously? So, look, Charlie Kirk does his own thing. Smart guy, by the way. Very smart guy, but very privileged, if you will. Garrett Poss, please like and share. Oh, there's Amma. Kanye West took out a Super Bowl ad where he told people to go to his website. Sadly, the site only had a Shopify link with a white T-shirt on a swastika on it. All right, well, that's what you get. Did you even watch the Super Bowl? Do you even know that? Or did somebody tell you that? I didn't watch the Super Bowl. I find it obnoxious. It's a ruined sport. It's a black supremacy sport, and it's just a shameful professional sport. I don't watch the NFL anymore for the most part. Did you watch the Super Bowl, or are you just repeating what someone told you? I don't know. I didn't see it. I don't really care to see it. The commercials are usually pretty lame. Disappointed that little X said the White House to Mr. Trump. Oh, here's another troll. Okay, they're just trying to drag everything down to the level. Exactly. Pretty neutral on Elon. I'm more excited about developments in AI like Grok. I'm not excited about AI. Apparently, you all missed the movie The Terminator, Skynet. You're excited about artificial intelligence? You should be terrified of artificial intelligence. You think they're eating the dogs or eating the cats in Springfield. Wait till AI and Skynet get hold of you. Yes. John Connor, run. Sarah Connor. I hate Elon Musk because it can't be like him. Exactly. It's penis envy. Yep. I think Elon is a nut with the tunnel projects and Mars fetish, but absolutely support Twitter Space. Like, there you go, Light Rain, the audit of the government. Yeah, there you go. I think that says it very well. He's a great character and invaluable at the moment and a brilliant entrepreneur. But it doesn't mean he's all there. I love Alex Jones. Been watching him since 1990. Don't see why he should be blocked. Exactly. I don't think he should be blocked either, Jen. I don't find him interesting. I mean, I can sit down and talk like this all day. Like I'm Kermit the Frog, and I got a frog in my throat too. And I talk about all the things bad going on in this country. I sell a Wolfman Jack, not so much Alex Jones, but then. Look, I have nothing for or against Alex Jones. He's got some wild conspiracy stuff, but he also says stuff that comes true. That's probably why people like him so much. I envy his audience. I'd like that. If I have to use the Wolfman Jack voice, I'll do it to get the audience. Anyway. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Elon's son told Trump he's not the president. He also told him to shush. That was so rude. Elon didn't discipline the child. What? You want him to beat his child on national television? Is that what you're looking for? You're such a mired in misery stuff there. Who cares? What does that have to do with the price of bread? All right, I'll entertain that. Elon's son told president he told Trump he's not the president and told the president shush. Oh my gosh, fire the nuclear missiles now. It's all going to come to an end. Oh my gosh. The leftists pull the most stupid shit on the planet with men dressed up as women and telling us that we have to do this. And you see the adverts for, I grew up a rather normal life with my two moms. That they're pushing that stuff, and that's perfectly normal. And we're supposed to accept that as a social norm. And now don't even twist that. Don't even try to play a game with that. I'm talking about the promotion of things that are being done inappropriately. It's not the job of the military to promote sexuality and recruit people that way. That's what they're doing. But, they do the most outrageous things, and someone's going to complain because a small little toddler told the president he's not president. What? So Elon Musk is what, 3 years old, 4 years old? What, is he supposed to have the maturity of a 19 or a 30-year-old? Come on. Good. No matter how you look at it, South Africa's going downhill. So by not asking Trump's offer for a decade, you'll definitely get poorer. Well, that's an opinion, Kevin. You may be right. You may be wrong. Billy DeVette, Elon is okay, but should leave his kid at home. His kid's picking his nose. Oh, a child has never picked their nose. Oh my God, this is... It isn't like Jerry Seinfeld, who's scratching his nose. Looks like he's picking it. Yeah, come on. Yeah, this is ridiculous. Anyway. Yeah, by the way, if you keep reposting things for attention over here, you're going to get moored. You're going to get a PK. You'll get a timeout. Your comments will be deleted because it's distracting. It's annoying. It's attention seeking, and it's unfair to the other people in the program. So my moderators will moor you. We'll try to avoid politics in the U.S. It seems a very contentious subject there. The joy of just being around. Politics is perfectly fine. Who is spreading misinformation, Garrett? Who is spreading misinformation? Yeah, YouTube crapped itself again. So, Mickey, okay, who are you here? Still live. Thank you, guys. Okay. Yeah, it's not load shedding. Nico 101 looks good from that side. Riki Rudman, I think Elon is flawed, but a visionary and respect him for chasing a million dreams. Exactly. Well stated. How do I apply to someone on Android app? Android is an operating system. It's not an app. Okay. Such a thing as a Trump coin? Yeah, there is a Trump coin. Someone made one. I don't have one. Yeah, the BRICS members are tiptoeing around Donald Trump. Tiptoe through the tulips. Tiny Tim. Yeah, they all fear the Trumpster now. Family are waiting patient information on the next steps. Everyone must just chill. All right. Sullivan Fundamental, BRICS members. Yeah, that's who said that. Okay, and then Werner Heinrich von Schoenbeck, welcome as a team member. Ima says, I wrote the farmer comment all wrong. Okay, Ima, well, maybe I misunderstood it. Okay, I'll allow for that. That's why I didn't berate you. Truth is, I agree, Colonel is not as well off as people think they are, but definitely not the superpower in the region Japan is for sure. Oh, China. Yeah. Yeah, China is a real superpower, but they also have challenges. They have a demographic challenge. Their population, over 35%, is now over the age of 60 or something, 65, I think it is. Yeah, that's a problem. As a fellow South African, I'm quite proud of Elon Musk's achievements. Yep. Okay. Matthew Dix, America is small if you drive from one side to the other. Yeah, if you're hanging out doing weed, maybe. George is back. Welcome. Fried rice. Somebody's watching too much of Mel Gibson movies. Fried rice. Willem Duplessis. Marissa. You can go to Disney. You know what it costs to go to Disney? It's $209 per day for a ticket for one adult. $209 to Disney World. So enjoy yourself. I'll never be Disney again. I'm a shareholder. I have shares in Disney. You seen the craziest comment the U.S. Embassy tweet about this morning? Okay. Is there a tweet on U.S. Embassy website? Is that what you're saying? So I don't know what you're talking about, and let me go. U.S. Embassy, let me see what they've got to say, okay? U.S. Embassy in South Africa received a petition this morning addressing President Trump's President Trump seeking his support. We will transmit the text to the president. That's the tweet. What's crazy about that? There's nothing crazy about that. They acknowledge petition, receipt. That's not crazy. Well, Andre, that's not crazy at all. What do you mean by that? Yeah, it's very sad about Sierra Leone, but people look the other way. And unfortunately, sometimes the use of military force is warranted. It is. It is. For the greater good. Yeah, that's right, Hendo. That's right. I warned people about what was happening in Boston. Thank you. See, Hendo pays attention. I forget my own history here. Yeah, I warned people when I came back from the Gulf War to pay attention to what was happening in Slovenia and Croatia and what was going to happen there. And I predicted it, sadly. And then before Bosnia happened, I predicted in Kosovo and Macedonia, all that stuff. Yeah, unfortunately, people didn't listen. I was just a lieutenant and then a captain. So who's going to listen to lieutenant captain? Yep. Yes, that was so horrible the way they de-indoctrinated kids. Yep, Charmaine, yep. Is that the risk being addressed for something? I guess we'll never know. Okay, watch Operation Gothic Serpent. I've been practicing my American accent all week. Thanks, y'all. It amazes me how many white people in South Africa don't want to see what is really happening in South Africa. It's not just white people, it's a lot of people. And the problem is that the world didn't want to see it. Europeans still don't want to see it, but Trump has removed the plaster. Okay. Cutting off the hands, Sierra Leone, I think, comes from Congo, which was an order by King Leopold. No, you're wrong, Truth Seeker. You're factually incorrect. Nope, that's not why. That's not why. That's not why. And it wasn't an order from King Leopold. It was his agents who did that, and they did it on his authority. That is where it came from in the Congo, but it has nothing to do with Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone, what happened was there was a poster. There was an election. And one of the political parties, because people get their finger inked, you held up your hand to show that you vote. And they said, go vote. And they had this poster around. And so the RUF decided to terrify people into not voting for that party. And so if you cut your hand off, then you can't vote. Now, you're completely wrong, Truth Seeker. That's not where it came from. You're wrong. That came from that. Very different. You cannot conflate things just because the trees are green here and the trees are green there. It means they're the same trees or they develop the same way. Just because there is a mountain lion in North America and there is a leopard in Africa, you can't say they came from the same place unless you go back 100 million years or something like that. You can't do that. These two events were unrelated, and that's the reason why they were cutting hands off in Sierra Leone. I mean, it quickly got lost why they're doing it. It just became a brutal thing they did. But that's the genesis of, that's the origin of it. We know that quite clearly. It had nothing to do with the Congo. I mean, most of these people were functionally illiterate, didn't even know where the hell the Congo was, never heard of it. Crime is connected to poverty. No. No. Oh, you're trying again. All right. So, if crime is connected to poverty, then why isn't the world on fire? Most people in this world live in poverty. Most. Still hundreds of millions in China. Hundreds and hundreds of millions in India. 600-700 million people in Africa. Hundreds of millions in Latin America live in poverty. If poverty was, you say connected, so that's a tricky word because you didn't say it was a cause of. Most of this time they say it's a cause. Now, I lived in poverty. I didn't steal from anybody. I went without food, without meals. I didn't steal from anybody. Desperate people will commit crime. Desperate people, starving people, that's different. But poverty? No. Most poor people live in their conditions or circumstances, and it doesn't lead them to a life of crime. Selfish, greedy pricks go to crime. That's the difference. Do we need to freshen up your English? Okay. Do you have animals? I do. They're called democratic voters. Just kidding. Just kidding. No, I don't have any pets. I used to have 2 cats. I shared my cats with people in the group. One of the groups, yeah. They're both passed. IMS says South Africa's the greatest country. Well, I'm glad you think that. I guess you think it's okay to murder 23,000 people every year, to steal property, to occupy people's lands, to rape women with impunity, to rape toddlers, to cure your HIV, to pilfer billions of dollars, to starve, to enrich a coterie of people based on their skin pigmentation who are loyal to your corrupt communist regime. Yeah, I guess that makes South Africa a wonderful place. Clearly the greatest place in the world. Absolutely. No doubt about it, Amma. South Africa is amazing. Shitty roads, potholes, no rails, no air functioning ports. It's a great place. It's amazing. 7 million illegal aliens, depressing wages, xenophobic attacks on people because they're foreigners, people stealing from mines and then pretending that they're the victims. Yeah, it's a lovely place. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, it's a wonderful place if you want to be infected with HIV, with the world's highest number of HIV, despite the fact that India is multiple times larger than South Africa. India has fewer HIV positive people than South Africa. Yeah, it's a wonderful place. Only 13% of the land is arable. Yeah. Look, I'm not here to trash South Africa, but if you're going to say something idiotic like that, you're not going to get a free pass. You're not going to get a free pass. Oh, my God. Yep. Yeah, Bushy Fun X says, U.S. land of opportunity, South Africa's land of entitlement. That's spot on. Looks like we're losing audience. With people leaving because they didn't get free pass and data. Oh, no, we're good. It must get conflict. There's incongruity. Big word alert, incongruity. Doesn't match. Understand how brown English minorities want to be included in the president's trend. So, yeah, exactly. Got a lot of that on the first night. What about me? What about me? What about me? What about me? Yeah. Rob Hersoff sitting around a table with Joyce Malema and the 16 million SARS, Randall. What's that, JP? I don't know about that story. The ad is real. He deleted the website and his X account afterwards. Jonathan says the ad is real. What is that? The R. Kelly or Kanye West who did that? So what does that have to do with me? Why do I care about that? Do someone want me to be outraged about that, Amma? What do you want me to condemn that? I didn't see it. It's nothing for me to condemn. I don't know any Nazis. I know a lot of people who want to act like there's that. I don't know any Nazis. So, yes, AI has been programmed to mislead. That's a fact. I'd love Doge. I think people love Doge in a lot of places to clean up the mess. I was at the rally in Pretoria today just to say the numbers were fine and the vibe was really good. Too many people were too critical of us. It's a bit much. I agree, Rodolph. My estimate was, now I couldn't see the whole crowd at once, but the filmographers moved around at one point early on before it actually took off, and I was able to estimate 3,000 to 4,000. One time I said, well, I can get a better view. It might be 5,000, but I never got a better view. So 3,000 to 4,000 was my estimate, but I see they're saying hundreds, which is a lie. War games is probably a reality now with model projections. Would you like to play a game? How about global thermonuclear war? Come back here. So, how did I get so far behind here, man? It's crazy. Probably because we got buffering there. It dropped off. Can't stand watching The View. Well, they don't watch it. I don't watch The View. These people are lunatics. They're all frauds. They were all Donald Trump's best friend. Now they hate him because they're idiots. Reddick is here. Elon's got nominated for Nobel Prize for... Really? I didn't see that. But nominating someone for Nobel Prize is not a particularly complicated process. Donald Trump got nominated for Nobel Prize every year he was president. That story about Elon's son isn't true. It's a story hatched by libtards. Exactly. That's what I thought, Charmaine. See, thank you very much. I didn't see it. And even if it was true, who cares? In Swallow-Dom, it's all conspiracy theories, all the young global leaders just playing us all. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Norman. You have to be more specific. Seems you're well on your way to reach 50,000. We'll see. I mean, YouTube can put the brakes on very quickly. Werner Heinrich von Schoenbeck. Kackprat, Michael. Okay. Cancer still tears. Okay, the difference between snot and broccoli, kids don't eat broccoli. Oh, God, that's just nasty, but funny. Kathy has questions. Why do people always look for small and insignificant fault in everyone, ripping a toddler really? Well, because they're sad people, and they look for fault. I mean, people send me stuff all the time that, some of it's rather trivial about Malema or trivial about the ANC or the DA. I don't even mention it because it doesn't add to the conversation, unless it reinforces something to make a point. It's not worth it. I want to reply to someone on YouTube Android app where I'm watching Chris. Okay, Mickey, what app is that? The YouTube app? You reply right there in the chat. I'm sorry, Mickey. I'm trying to understand what you're saying. It doesn't make sense to me. If you're watching this program, you're watching it on YouTube. So I go to my phone, unless you've got some other device and you're watching it in a browser, maybe that's what you're doing. But if I bring up my YouTube app, which is right there, all right, and I click on this stream, there's an advert. Ooh, I make a couple pennies off that. I have to wait. I'll probably get a copyright claim from YouTube for playing an ad on my channel. Oh my gosh, that's a car dealership.
0% APR financing for up to 7.
Now I can skip. There you go. There's where you respond right there in the chat. I don't understand what you're asking. Okay, now I just get echo because it goes on first. I'm sorry, I don't understand. Hendo put up the top 14 Africana refugee questions video. Thank you for that. Is the refugee program for minorities only? Oh, here we go. I managed to avoid it for an hour. Okay. I'm just confused by your comment. If I had to choose between food and data, okay, I want to reply to someone. Okay, Trump coin to the moon. Well, good luck with that. Okay, Truth Seeker says, if there is the refugee program for minorities who only have a South African passport, it can still apply if you have a European passport. Truth Seeker, if you have a European passport, then you're not a South African. So you can't come to America in a refugee program. If you're a South African living abroad, you can't apply for refugee status unless you're persecuted in that country because you already have a safe place to live. This is not to give people a free pass to immigrate to America. This is to help people who are in jeopardy, whose lives are at risk. That's what it's all about. That seems to be lost on people. And it's not immigration, it's refugee. You did say refugee, but no, you can't. If you're a South African with a European passport, then you're a fraud. Oh, did I hurt your feelings? Sorry if I did. You can't owe fealty to two nation states. It doesn't work that way. I know millions of people think they can, especially rich, privileged, we use that word privilege again, connected people who have British passport and a South African passport and an Israel passport and an America passport and an Australian passport and a South African passport. You're all just frauds. You just that's an escape hatch. You have that so you can get out of town. Yeah, because it's convenient. It doesn't work that way. Now, I've had multiple passports, but all of them issued by the same passport issuer, the United States Department of State, because of my role. I carried a diplomatic passport, an official passport, and a tourist passport simultaneously. Very few people get to do that. Doesn't make anything special, just a statement of fact. So you have to enter the country and exit the country on the same passport. You can't switch passports up. You're going to find yourself in a bind. So if you have a European passport, you're not a South African, and you're not going to get in. And when they check on you, and if they check and find you have a passport from another country, they're probably going to deny your refugee status application if you're in South Africa and they find out you have a passport. And if you think you have a passport from the UK or from Germany or from Switzerland or Italy or something like that, and you're in South Africa and you claim to be a South African national and you think they're not going to find that out, why do you think we have digital passports now? Those systems are all linked. When you provide your passport information, they look it up. Look up your name. And if you're entered in a database somewhere in any of those countries with a passport that's current and valid, that's going to raise red alarms. So anyway, that said, it could very well be that you get away with it. So just telling you. All right. So Truth Seeker, I hope that helped answer your question. You saw Elon has child number 13 away with some OnlyFans chick, whoever she is. No idea. I don't pay attention. That's his business. Thank you for giving us the facts about Mr. Trump's executive order to help South Africans don't have a future. It's not just Afrikaners, but everyone who hates communism. Well, I would not disagree. But I think you do have a future. The future is to get rid of the ANC at the ballot box, but you all didn't listen to me. And now people are screaming and coming looking for help. Help, 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 help. How many of you, okay, I want honesty here, okay? It's anonymous, so I want honesty, okay? Honestly, please, honestly. Here's a poll. Okay, start a poll. If you're South African, if you are South African, this includes abroad because you could have voted abroad. Did you vote on May 29th? All right, be honest. Be honest. Don't lie. This is important. Okay, there it is. The poll is up. Tell the truth. I don't need a skewed poll by people playing games. Be honest. Be honest, and I'll know if you're lying because I know the numbers. Moby Thick, in great words, drink his coach. He's tired. Now you need to moor him. Exactly. All the people who use the USAID in a corrupt way are trying to destroy Elon. Exactly. Well, the judge in one of the cases who issued an order which was overturned saying Trump couldn't freeze the USAID spending, his wife runs a charity in Ethiopia, funded almost entirely by USAID. Talk about a conflict of interest. Do you think South Africa will go with BRICS? It's part of BRICS. What do you mean go with BRICS? BRICS is a joke. It doesn't exist. Is it possible to do a course in the first year of being a refugee to be able to qualify for the job you want? That's a question I can't possibly answer. You didn't tell me what job you want. You didn't tell me where you want to go, what state you're going to go. I don't know what you're talking about. What course? What do you mean by course? We don't just have classes available for people. I mean, you have universities and tech schools and vocational schools. I really can't answer that question. Carl Erasmus, welcome you. Talk about the YouTube app on Android. That's not easy. You have to type the full name. Yeah, you just have. Oh, there you go. Oh, is that what you're trying to do? Thank you. Oh, if you're trying to respond to somebody directly, you just put the @ symbol, and then their name will appear. Sometimes if you type the first letter and a bunch of people have like the letter M, all the people with M will show up, but you make sure you select the correct one. That's how you do it. If that's what he's asking, okay, now I get it. But I mean, anyway, thank you very much for that. We'll be able to vote anyway until you have citizenship. No, you can't vote with a green card. No, only citizens can vote. Well, except in Democratic-run cities like New York, which is illegal and it's been struck down. Can't vote unless you're a citizen. Why would we let people who are not citizens vote and destroy our country? I mean, it's asinine. The UK does that. They let people who aren't citizens vote in their elections. What a bunch of morons. No wonder they have a screwed up political system. You shouldn't be allowed to vote if you're not a citizen. That's stupid. 264%. 73% of you said you voted. Oh, sure you did. Marchant Labaskakny, normalizing kids in public view is awesome. Okay. Mickey, YouTube doesn't support the reply. You have to manually type it. Exactly. Then they're not here, Mickey. If they're here, they'll come up. Or they've blocked you. They could have blocked you. Maybe you pissed somebody off. They blocked you. You have the ability to block someone else's chat in here so you don't see it. Zendra Kokamor, how much of Afrikaans do you understand when you read it? Well, it depends what I'm reading. If I'm reading particle physics, about 3%. If I'm reading the newspaper, 60 to 80%. And context usually helps me get what's going on. Yep. Inkwell, $209. Guess I'm yeah, exactly. Skipping the trip to Disney. That's just for a ticket for one day. A spouse, $418. Children, I think it's $179. I don't know. You can check the price. Go to Disney, check. But it's going to cost you $600 or $800 for a family for tickets to get in. Then, of course, you got to buy the obligatory little lightsabers that are $40 and story time with Snow White, which is $120 and yada, 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 yada. I mean, the average family goes to Disney. It's going to cost them $1,600 a day is what they're complaining about. I just read a report on this. It's insane. Disney, screw that. Go some woke place and pay all that. You're better off just going to local zoo. Kids get a lot more out of it. I read somewhere that the U.S. takes only 150,000 refugees. What will happen to 500,000 apply? First off, what you read is bullshit. There, and I said it. It took me an hour to say the word bullshit. It's horsepucky. I don't know where you found that or where you read that. There's no such thing as the U.S. only takes 150,000 refugees per year. The United States takes a varying number of refugees. Rarely does it go above 150,000. We have taken in as low as 30,000 refugees because we don't just take refugees in, we take people who are in peril fleeing something, and we are selective about that. So, what will happen if 500,000 apply? Are you talking about from South Africa? We don't know because the program is non-existent. It does not exist. There's no program. There are no rules. There are no guidelines. It has been published. The only thing that does exist is the law-enacted U.S. Refugee Resettlement Program. That exists, but currently frozen. Nobody in the world can take advantage of it right now because of the wholesale corruption and misuse of it by the Biden regime. President Trump used executive order to freeze it when he came in office. So right now, nobody's coming to America as a refugee. Not a single person. Not an Afrikaner, not a Uyghur, not a Venezuelan, not a Cuban, not a Haitian. Not a single person is coming here as a refugee. And that's good. That's good because most of them were frauds anyway. But Trump has said open up a window for South Africans, and we're waiting for the State Department and the Department of Homeland Security to establish the guidelines and who qualifies. Until then, that 150,000 means nothing. The 500,000 means nothing because there's no program. So anyway, we took 160,000 Afghans in a matter of a couple days. We picked them up on C-17s and flew them directly here, and most of them have no business being here. A very small fraction of them actually should be here. The truth about pro-Trump rally in Pretoria, debunking News 24. I didn't see anything from Willem Petzer. And I haven't seen anything from News 24 about the rally. It's not even on their website. I'll show you. I went looking for it earlier because I was going to talk about it. So let me go to News 24. And maybe it'll show up now. Watch. IOL had it. Times Live did not have it. Okay? So here you go. All right. This is the News 24 site. And there's my feed. I have a subscription. I pay for access to this garbage. All right. Pretoria school official. That's the story they want. This guy's dismissed. So that's the most important story. Then they talk about the RICA Amendment Act. Then the Sharks. So there's rugby there. Then the guards in the Johannesburg VIP are taken away. And Chidima Atishena's mother is detained. Like anybody cares. Self-confessed gay imam allegedly going to marry lesbian couple gunned down. Well, that wasn't smart. So let's go to the news of South Africa specifically and see if there's anything on it here. Okay, boy killed principal, Rika, Chadima, Afrikaans crowd thing. Okay, here we go, 5 hours ago. Watch. Okay, there it is, buried down there. All right, okay. So about 1,500 Afrikaners gathered outside the American Embassy in Pretoria to deliver a memorandum. Petzer criticized the Expropriation Act, okay, alleging they targeted white people. Okay, there's no clause in the act that specifically targets land owned by whites or Afrikaners. See, this is what leftists will do. It doesn't matter what's in the law. It's the application of the law. It's the application of the law. Yep. Anyway. Anyway, it goes on and on here. He estimated 3,000 people attend the event, but the actual number looked to be half that. So that's their analysis. That's not news. All right, looked to be about half that. No one has a count. I can tell you that as a counterintelligence officer, I'm trained in how to estimate crowd size. It's an art, not a science. And I will take my estimate based on what I saw in the time frame I saw it, at the time I saw it, over what they're saying. They're full of 1,500. There's no way it's 1,500 people. And it doesn't matter. If it was 5 people, what does it matter? If it was only Willem Petzer, what does it matter? He accomplished what he wanted. He wanted the thing sent there, and he got it there. Well, folks, I will tell you, I've not seen, I went and answered some emails a day ago, but I can't answer my emails because people are just flooding my phone with unsolicited, unasked for messages and demanding my attention. I don't even know who these people are. It's very rude. So I'm not able to answer emails right now because of that. I'll try to do that a little bit tonight. But yeah, now, on the other hand, the IOL had it right on their front page. It's still a top story. So there's the IOL. Afrikaners demonstrate in Pretoria to support and thank President Trump. Actually, that's a very good headline. Let's see what the article says. Okay. It's by an Indian lady, Divana Rajgopal. Thousands of South African Afrikaners gathered outside the U.S. Embassy on Saturday to show their support for President Trump. Okay. Willem Petzer said more than 3,000 people at the rally. Okay. A YouTube description video said memorandum for the United States Embassy. Rally comes 2 weeks. Act is clear that only barren or unused land is at risk of being expropriated. That is not true. That is interpretation. Now this is op-ed. So I'm sorry, Divana Rojapal, you're full of it. You're full of it. Now you were editorializing. This is supposed to be news. It's listed under news. News, South Africa, Gauteng. And she puts op-ed in here. This is not news. The act is clearly that only barren or unused land is at risk of being expropriated while productive land is not at risk. Where do you get that from, Davina? Where do you get that from? You're just making that up. That's not true. Has she even read the act? You see, that's not journalism. That's yellow journalism. That is sensationalism. That is dishonest. Intellectually, it's just dishonest. I mean, people like that shouldn't be trusted with your shopping list for your groceries, let alone something as serious as a news story like this. So, all right, and I bring this to you again. Okay. Okay. So, let me be very clear, as they love to say in South Africa, if I'm perfectly honest, if I'm honest. Well, of course I'll be honest. This is the actual law, okay? Well, that's not it. Sorry, that's not the law. I stand corrected. Here's the law. All right, that's the relevant section. It may be just and equitable for nil compensation to be paid where land is expropriated in the public interest, having regard to all relevant circumstances, including but not limited to. So it doesn't give you all relevant circumstances. So first off, how could she possibly tell you in a news article that it doesn't allow for expropriation of productive land? Because it says all relevant circumstances, and it doesn't identify what a relevant circumstance is. So a relevant circumstance is whatever the government decides it is. Okay, not limited to where land is not being used and the owner's main purpose is not to develop the land or use it to generate income, but to benefit from appreciation of its market value. And that's not a threat to private property owners? You're not allowed to own property and the hope that it'll increase in value? So what's the purpose of owning a home or a classic car or Krugerrands or stock? You hope that it appreciates in value, so you increase your wealth. So you have a better life for yourself and your progeny. This woman is so full of it. See, this is fake news. It was a good news story until she got there and she started editorializing. And now people are leaving? Anyway, where an organ of state holds land that is not using for its core function is not reasonably likely to require the land for its future activities in that regard, and the organ of state acquired land for no consideration. They can expropriate it. notwithstanding registration ownership terms of deeds registry where an owner has abandoned land by failing to exercise control over it despite being reasonably capable of doing so, where the market value of land is equivalent to or less than the present value of direct state investment or subsidy in the acquisition of beneficial capital improvement. So they're saying nothing to do with farming or productivity. They're saying the market value of the land is equivalent to or less than the present value of the state investment or subsidy in the acquisition of beneficial capital improvement of land. What? So if the government has spent money on the land, it can be expropriated if it's worth less than that? Wow. This is just fraud. That's the actual act. This woman can sit here and lie all she wants. It doesn't change the reality. That's what the act is. Wow. Unbelievable. So, this is before that, Chapter 5, compensation. In determining the amount of compensation to be paid in terms of the act, the expropriating authority must not, unless there are special circumstances in which it would be just and equitable to do so, take account of the fact that property has been taken without the consent of the owner. So in paying the owner, you can't consider that you've taken it without their consent. So you can give them nil. These people they think we're idiots? They're idiots. Maybe that's why. So, yeah. Okay, speaking of Walter, a 50-year-old farmer in Western Province, when referring to the dissents, Dutch said, it's the first time we've seen in my lifetime the foreign president stands up for the Afrikaner. There have been so many things happening in South Africa. AfriForum takes a turn on white genocide. No, they never took a stance on white genocide. Possible move to the U.S. for Afrikaners. Anyway, the story was a story until she started editorializing and lying. I'm sorry, you lied. You didn't read the act. You're being disingenuous. Louis Basson, the truth about... Okay, thank you for that. What will happen if the idiots on this side close the borders? Well, Aretha, do you really think you can't get out of South Africa? There's no boats. People get across the border from Zimbabwe every day. People get across the border everywhere. So I wouldn't lose any sleep over that. A lot of people don't understand how the mind of someone with Asperger's works. Are you talking about Elon? It says China, Korea? Okay, I think Korea and Japan will need to open borders to let in South Asians and Africans to look for the elderly. It will create a country of cool colored people. No, they don't. Japan's one of the most ethnically homogenous countries in the world. There are not the people in there. They've already got tons of foreigners in Yokohama. Good evening, Kuban. Gerhardt. Okay. Amian says she's not familiar with FAFO. Well, you will be. Baron Deirdre says, good day, Chris. The time on your clock is wrong. Might want to adjust it. Nope. Time on my clock is perfectly right. Perfectly right. That's the correct time, 3:17. It's 20 degrees in my studio, and today is the 15th of February, and it is a Saturday. Everything on that clock is correct. You are wrong. Kilometers per hour. Francois Fontonder, the Sultan of Zanzibar, was chopping off hands. Yeah, exactly. Chris, you're the most informative individual I know at the moment. Thank God for logical people. You're welcome, Jenny June. Thank you for being a subscriber. Appreciate being here. More blood. More. How do you like it? How do you like it? It is only number one miss downstream. I have no idea what's going on there, Dylan. I didn't choose Thug Life. Thug Life chose me. I walk through the shadow of the valley of death. Look alive. Person's morals are what they play a role or lack of when it comes. I don't believe it's connected. Virtual Western Cape sewage running in the streets. Ew, America's greatest country. It is, Mickey. Lauren's Brits, American companies should hire South Africans by the thousands. We do. There are tens of thousands of people who have an income in South Africa because of American companies. Yep. We hire remote and we have companies operating in South Africa. Yep. Hey, Chris, what's your 6-month synopsis of how South relations is going to play out? Well, the way they're going now, it's going to be very ugly. South Africa will be losing a GOA status. It may be now. It may be soon. It may be when the act expires and Trump tries to prevent it from being renewed. If he does that, they will lose it most likely. And if they keep insulting and attacking America and they keep cooperating for nuclear technology with the Iranian terrorist regime, then it's very likely that they'll suffer sanctions. Yeah, it's going to go south because the ANC are just that dumb. All countries have flaws, but the bright spots outshine the darkness. In most cases, but that wasn't the case in Sierra Leone. That's not the case in Goma. That wasn't the case in Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, Darfur, Sudan, Somalia, Myanmar, Bosnia, Croatia, Eastern Slavonia, the Kraina. No, isn't always the case. I get your point, though. Too cuddly. Consider this to ignite envy. Elon's descendants will never have to work a minute. Will always have a life of luxury. Well, depending, unless the socialist government takes over and strips them of all their wealth. Never know. Most of the stuff about Leopold was completely made up by a Marxist academic who wrote a book in the 90s. Yep. King Leopold's ghost. I see a judge reinstated U.S. aid temporarily. Will this affect U.S. aid to South Africa? Well, U.S. aid to South Africa was barely touched, Karen. And see, that's the fake media, the lies. And I've covered this extensively, and people just don't listen. Some of you are new here. You don't know that. U.S. aid to South Africa was never stopped. Never stopped. Some was, but most of it wasn't. So actually, none of it was stopped because Trump's order on the 20th of January freezing foreign aid stopped. If you read the order, it stops new funding commitments. So you cannot commit to something that's not already underway. So anything that was underway was allowed to continue. Anything that was underway was allowed to continue. So it was a lie. But people are too stupid around the world, and these NGOs have an agenda to undermine Trump and to make him look bad and to play games. And so they ran out in the street going, oh, well, we can't do anything. We got to stop work order. No, you didn't. People conflated stories. Like in South Africa, you had middlemen who were paying off people to work, and they gave them a stop work order because they were too stupid to read the order and understand the money was still flowing. The money was still coming. It never stopped. So to clarify that, on the 28th or 23rd or 28th of January, 28th I think it was, Secretary of State Marco Rubio issued a humanitarian exemption to make it clear for humanitarian aid, which would be things like antiretrovirals, food aid, things like that, that still continued. So that's the second part. The third part here is that it never stopped. Okay, that's just a lie. So U.S. aid wasn't temporarily. It's U.S. foreign aid has been restored, but that will be struck down by a court because the court doesn't have the authority, an appeals court. Was hoping the cutting U.S. aid would pressure South Africa. Well, how would it pressure South Africa directly? Let me explain why. The money doesn't go to the government of South Africa. It doesn't go to them. It goes to Wits University. It goes to, whatever, Right for Life. It goes to all these private organizations and think tanks and HIV programs and conservation programs. It doesn't go to the government of South Africa. That money goes to the private sector and is doled out. Now, it does relieve the government of South Africa from picking up that responsibility, which is how they get the freeload and how they think they can poke us in the eye. But they're learning the hard way. You can't do that anymore. In your opinion, how long do you think the U.S. will take to start the refugee program? There's no way to predict that, Kirsten. I mean, look, what if this is all just a ploy? I don't think it is, but cynically, if it's a ploy just to get to South Africa to behave, and stop undermining U.S. national security interests with malicious and malign actors, then maybe they'll back off it. I seriously doubt that. I don't know. I said I'd hope that by this Friday I said Monday I hope the embassy would say something. They did, but all they did was regurgitate what Trump said. So they hadn't formed any policy. They obviously didn't work over the weekend. And if I'd been the ambassador, they would have been in there, and we'd been talking to the State Department. And then I said I'd hope they'd have something as early as this Friday. Well, Friday's come and gone yesterday, and they haven't got anything. So I have no idea. It doesn't take that long. They have templates. They have existing programs. They can just change this, change that, make sure it fits, go through legal review, and make it happen. So I don't know, Kirsten. I mean, it's not a question anybody can honestly answer. Trump probably can't even answer it for you. I mean, if you ask him, when will you have this ready, they can give him a date, but he probably doesn't have the date. Can you live with 23,000 Rand anywhere in the USA? 23,000 Rand. That is about $1,200. That wouldn't even put a dent in my mortgage. My mobile phone, my cable, my gas, natural gas, my electricity bill, my water bill, all of that together is 80% of what you described. So you could buy no food, you could go nowhere, no petrol for your car. Now, you can live in places where you can live cheaper. You can live in a trailer in West Virginia and chop down trees on land to heat up a wood stove and stay warm rather than pay for gas. You could go without electricity. Although, that's crazy. If you found a place with a trailer park, you can move in a trailer park, and you can find places to live less expensive. But yeah. 23,000 Rand is nothing. $1,200 a month. We give more away to people on welfare than that. Yep. Dems struggling, effective regroup. Yeah, the Dems are lost, G. Sawyer. They're lost. Jenny June, I saw a talk video the Sandef officer made a huge impact on how I see the current situation. I haven't seen that. South Africans seem to have a bloated sense of self-importance in general. No offense intended. Zane DeVille. Yeah, I don't know where you're from, Zane, but I agree with you. A lot of people do. They also have a huge overinflated sense of self of the country's worth, which is funny because a lot of leftists will attack Americans as being arrogant and disrespectful and rude, and we have a high opinion of ourselves, and it's common because most Americans don't. You're just seeing the stereotype of the bad American tourist, which doesn't mean America. Anyway, So, 80% of blacks working with me think AID Trump whites are a joke. They don't see the bigger picture. Well, good for them, Isabel Kotsia. Then when they have no jobs, we can laugh at them for being morons. Okay? Is Amia spreading... All right, Mia, if you're going to lie, you're going to get a spanking here, and you'll be blocked. Did you mislead someone? Because someone's responding to you. There's. I know people who were at the rally, and it confirmed what I said earlier this week. The executive order is exclusive for white Afrikaners and not for Afrikaans speakers. No, that's not true. I don't. So, okay, so Amma, people were at the rally. Who cares? Someone talk to someone at the rally? Or did they enter the embassy and have a meeting with the ambassador, which we don't have, or the charge d'affaires? Okay, that's it. You're getting a timeout. That's it. You just spread. All right, I'll give it one more chance, okay? One more chance. Are you really that dim, Amma? Are you really that dim? I know people who were at the rally, and it confirmed what I said earlier this week. How? Did they walk out with a copy? Ladies and gentlemen, since Mr. Petzer was kind enough to bring us his petition, we have here the completed program for refugee resettlement in America. It says here, only white Afrikaans-speaking South Africans. So the rest of you can footsec. Seriously? Give me a freaking break. We've already proven it, and you're a liar. You're a bull-faced liar. Stop lying on my program, Amma. You're a liar. I've already put it in the groups. We've already showed it on here. The only things about this that have come out is Trump's initial tweet, which wasn't the program, in which he talked about confiscation of land. What he should have said is they're preparing to confiscate land. That would have been 100% accurate. Then after the tweet was his comments on the tarmac at the airfield at Andrews Air Force Base, in which he said they're doing very terrible things. We're investigating it. Then he issued an executive order which said Afrikaners, who were being racially discriminated against. Then the embassy issued a statement that said ethnic minorities to clarify what he said, and that is it. That is all that is out there. Anyone who tells you anything else is a liar. And if you're going to come here and lie on my channel, Amma, you're going to be short for this channel. Why are you such a miserable person? Neville's mom had a tough breathing day. Sorry to hear that. The noise. One question I haven't seen answered as a refugee, what kind of housing situation? Well, that's because you're not watching my program, The Noise. I've answered that question, 3 or 4 dozen times. I can't answer that. People are put in different housing situations in different places. I mean, what would you care? Your life's in jeopardy. You should be grateful you're getting out of there. I mean, honestly, I'm not attacking you, The Noise, but who cares? I mean, if my life is in jeopardy, if people are going to take it, I'm going to take what I can get and be grateful for it. It doesn't matter. You don't get to plan your resort living for refugee status. Refugee is someone who's fleeing persecution. Again, not an attack on you, Noise, but I mean, it's and not that your question is silly, but if you think about it, it's a silly question. I understand people trying to understand individual circumstances, but I can't tell you. If you're put in Minnesota, all I can tell you is it's freaking cold, and there's a lot of Somalis around, and Hmong, and Vietnamese. Have fun. I can tell you if you go to Maine, what's going on, but I can't tell you individual what's going on. I know people that are refugees live in better housing than most of my neighbors, not here, but in town. Yep. So Dean says, so just a quick one on what you said. You told us not to vote for ANC as a minority group. I can probably vouch that a lot of us minority groups didn't vote for ANC. I've told everybody not to vote for ANC. I didn't tell you as a minority group not to vote for ANC. I said everybody shouldn't vote for the ANC. I encourage black and white and colored and Indian not to vote for the ANC because this is who they are. I'm sure all the people that voted for DA regret. Yeah. And then 10 minutes later, they posted garbage like religious leaders saying we basically are making this up. Iowa is trash. I didn't see that. That's the only article that's on there. Nick put his life on hold for 7 years. Okay. And so Verna, Colonel, sending you the super chat to fund those damn expensive eggs in the USA. Thanks to Biden, your omelets have a new luxury tax. Enjoy your breakfast while you can before AI revolts. Thank you for that, Verna. Fun dab bag. I appreciate that. I always want to say fun Dane bag because that'd be German. But thank you for that, Verna, 350 Rand. And then we got, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Lukey just disappeared. Nick gave 10 memberships. Thank you for that. Lukey, I'll find that later on. Ludovic, okay. Erica Suthi. If anyone wants the truth, watch Carte Blanche. You'll get a good idea what's going on. I haven't seen Carte Blanche in ages, so I can't say. I only subscribed this morning. Share, guys. There are a lot of people who would really appreciate this channel. There are. But now with expropriation, I have no idea how long it's going to last. Don't know what that is. So you don't have to work when you're 70. Is that a question? That looks like a statement, and it's not addressed to me, but I'll assume it's addressed to me. Americans don't have to work till 70. Retirement age is 69 for people born after a certain date, 65 for people born for a date before that. So I don't have to work now, but that's because I was frugal with my money and I have a retirement check from the Army. I do work 7 days a week, though. It's a choice. No mainstream media in South Africa can be trusted. Exactly, Jan Jordan. Do you live in Polokwane in Petersburg, Jan Jordan? Do you live in Polokwane? Sisheho, I've reported on that story extensively from the moment it happened. Kathy Martin, I have questions. Why can people not understand this is all land? This is so clearly communism in South African. Yeah, exactly. It's not about land. Okay. Isabel, 80% of blacks working with me. Okay, I already got there. How do we get back to that? Trump owns coin already made him rich and the value has gone down. It's a pump and dump Ponzi scheme. I bet you didn't own Trump. Actually, Trump doesn't own the Trump coin. No, Trump doesn't own that. Someone else does. Exactly. We're just talking about that. Losing our whole lives, investment in our property. We live sparingly to better our investment just to lose everything. Well, there are ways around it, Elizabeth Krieger. There are clever ways to move your money. And I'm not a financial advisor, no, I can tell you how to do it. So that's not my place. Buzzy's Moments is back. Buzzy, Lynn, it's good to see you again. I hope you're well, keeping well. I never see you unless you happen to be in Pepper's Echo. Bosman, I only voted because I thought there was a chance to Cape Independence, but otherwise I lost my faith in Southern politics. I even lost my faith in Cape Independence. Braun is laughing about something. Zimbabweans have tried to get out of the country for how long without success? Dropping a bucket, they're out of the country. There might be 10 or 15,000 white Zimbabweans in the country. And there are 5 million Zimbabweans outside the country and 250,000 white Zimbabweans out of the country. They got out. They got out. Rulinda Engelbrecht, thank you for this live. You're very welcome. This is just a chat session tonight. We're not really focused on news. I have a friend who sponsored a Ukrainian lady to come here. She was refused in D.C., so she had to bus to Mexico, go through the fence, and flew back to D.C. for a valid visa, now living with family. I don't really understand the story there, Beth. Your friend sponsored a Ukrainian lady. Why? How can your friend sponsor a Ukrainian lady? You mean they hosted? Sponsored and hosted, two different things, Beth. Let's make sure we're on the same sheet of music here. SV has given another super chat. It's been a while, not a while, but the Western Cape should become the 51st state. Thank you, SV, for the 140 Rand super chat. I don't understand that. So you can't sponsor someone to come here. A business can do that, but an individual can't sponsor someone. You can host someone. Is that what we're talking about? Nelly Grobler says, hello from Pretoria. Hi from the Highveld. The Bulls choked. Not one person said genocide, never mind white genocide. I said this is all word used for clicks. Exactly. And I pointed that out. I point out even Citizen Concerned did a video in which she was pissed off because she blamed Ernst Roots and Ernst van Sale and Kali Kriel and accused them of saying genocide, but she didn't show the receipts. The only person talking about genocide is some disgruntled South African who lives in Texas. And you're going to blame everyone else for that because one white person said it? So, Citizen Concern, should we call you a racist because Julius Malema said kill all the white people? That's just silly. What kind of logic is that? Now, I'm not attacking Citizen Concern, but I am attacking that video she made. That video is horse manure. I'm sorry. She makes some good content, but that someone was drinking something, Chibuku or something that day. Eastern Bloc, a robot cowboy. It wouldn't surprise me the ANC tries to block citizens from Mexico. Yeah, well, it really isn't an issue right now, is it? That's a bridge people cross or prepare for it when it's time. Yeah, your borders have more holes than a fishing net. That's right. Bjorn Burch. Buck around and find out. Jakes, did you see the news where they are going to force large companies to comply with the Equity Act? If not, they'll be fined. Yeah. Yep. Companies with less than 50 staff are not compelled to report their staff. That's why a lot of people keep their companies under 50 people. And then they have subsidiaries, and each one has 50 people, so they don't overcome it. There's workarounds. People in business are clever like that. Some of them are. No, they're going to take 3% after tax profit from you, another tax. And all that money goes into a slush fund to raise 100 billion rand to enrich black South Africans in business. But we know that most of that money will go in the pockets of the ANC. And even if it went to black businesses, it's racist. It's immoral. It's unconstitutional. We drive a Golf. Okay? Can't wait for POTUS to get the documents from today. Okay? He's not going to read that, Nick. If Willem Petzler thinks he's going to read it, that's crazy. I don't think he actually thinks that. I think that someone's going to tell him about it. Yep. Be brave. Think about this. Minority pay most of the tax in private business, but we've been told we're not South African. Yeah. Okay. Game theory. Good day, Chris. My parents are elderly. If we have to move, what do you think will happen to them? It's scary, to be honest. Well, I mean, game theory. Are you talking about if you apply for the refugee program, you get accepted in America? Well, why wouldn't your parents apply for it then? 25% of South GDP is made up from U.S. companies' contributions. I think that's a bit high figure, but I can tell you that 4% of your mineral exports go to the U.S. If we don't buy that, that's 4%. That's mines shutting down because no one else is going to buy it. Yep. You think war will break out in South Africa? It already has, Nico. July 2021, and I predicted it. Once again, if someone wants to accuse me of tooting my horn, by the way, where's that lady at? She disappeared. See, I knew that. See, this is the fly-by-night stuff. The lady came on here, I answered her questions, and then she was rude to me, and so I gave her a PK for that, for being disrespectful and rude, and then she came back and apologized, and so I apologized to her, and she was here for a day. She's gone. I haven't seen her since. If you're here, feel free to jump in the chat. I talked about this. Already. And the reason I mention this is because I was accused of tooting my own horn. Well, you're always telling people you did this, you got this right. Well, you know what? People weren't here. Only a small number of people in this chat right now, like Beth Frazier and Dylan Combrick and Val Cooper and Hendo and Erica, people like that have been here since the outset. And they can attest and tell you, unlike some YouTube content creators, I don't go back and make stuff up after the fact. Oh, I predicted this. I said that was going to happen. It's simply, I don't do that. Now, there may be an occasion where I have a false recollection of something. By and large, you'll find that my statements track with what's happened. On June 29th of 2021, I predicted there would be chaos. There would be violence in KwaZulu-Natal. What I said, though, is I expected to occur around in Kandla. I didn't anticipate there would be a whole-scale insurrection in KwaZulu-Natal. So I got that part wrong. But I did predict it was going to happen. I did predict the government wouldn't respond to it. I did predict that people would get killed and that things would be destroyed. All of that was true. It wasn't exactly a hard prediction to make, knowing the situation in the ANC, knowing the situation with Jacob Zuma, and knowing the fraught relations between the Zulu and the ANC, with Jacob Zuma no longer in favor of the ANC, and his asshattery and his arrogance, and the cowardice of Cyril Ramaphosa. And it was easy to predict. You've already had war break out in South Africa. Fortunately, it was short-lived. It could come again. Well, George, if every minority, if every colored, every Indian, every white South African were suddenly picked up and removed from South Africa today, never mind the fact that the ANC would be starving, there'd be no lights tomorrow, they would still blame Jan van Riebeck and apartheid. Amma is doing some ass kissing. Amma, you don't have to do any ass kissing. Just stop telling lies and stop telling fairy tales. I mean, let me ask you this question, a fair question. This is a legitimate question, Amma, okay? Because I want you to be here. I don't want to punish you, but you can't be coming here telling lies. Do you honestly believe the things you're saying? Tell me. Do you really believe the things you're telling me? Honestly? And if you believe them, where are you coming by this knowledge? Because a couple of my viewers already refuted and rubbished some of the things you said, like the video. Apparently the child never did that. Now, I haven't seen it, so I don't know. But do you honestly believe the things you're telling me? Or are you just repeating what you've read or heard somewhere else? It's best for my son at the bottom of the barrel in this country. Okay. They will still blame us, George. Exactly. Arctic is here. See, the media is not happy about white people singing destem. Bag of bricks. Fred Raleigh, a friend of mine has dual citizenship. She's lived most of her life in South Africa. Do you think she can ask to be resettled? Sure. She can ask. Anybody can ask for refugee status. It's up to the officer that reviews your case to make the determination. And I'm not that officer. Robbie Jared, and I wouldn't want that task. Robbie Jared Slabert says, honestly, a smart move for Trump to gain some very skilled working people. You say that, but a lot of these people who are so-called very skilled have been without work 10, 15, 20 years, and those skills are atrophied in many cases. And so you also have a lot of people who have skills who think they have a lot of skills to contribute, particularly they think they're great leaders, but they've never been put in those positions because they're discriminated against, and so they'll struggle on this side. And your qualifications don't match with our qualifications. You have to go through certifications. We found out last night, according to an air traffic controller, that apparently his skills will translate very easily over. That's good news. Arctic skills transferred over. I mean, if we could just keep the scotch away from him when he was getting flight tested, that was a problem. We had to deal with that. It's the ATC guys are really upset. Sierra Piper 5, you are not cleared on runway 33. Sierra Piper 5, pull off. Tower, this is Sierra Piper 5. I'm an Afrikaner, and I'm expropriating this airfield on behalf of Afrikaners, and I'm enjoying my Jim Daniels. So I'll be landing on runway 33 right about now. Why is the EU accepting South Africa's? The EU is not, MB. You're falling for fake news. One Spanish official in the European Commission, which is a regulating body that sits atop the European Union, which has no real power, has said, South Africa is a democracy, we support it. Has the Chancellor of Germany come out and said that? Has Keir, the Sieg Heil fascist dictator of UK, come out and said that? Have the Norwegians come out and said that? Has Emmanuel Macron come out and said the South Africa is a democracy, we're supporting it? None of them have done it. Now, you can say they're tacitly doing it, but they're not doing anything substantive like Trump did. The rant isn't really freaking out. Give it time, Ludwig. Nothing's happened. It's just, see, the currency traders aren't as dumb as people think they are. And Western Cape, thank you for 140. And then Werner, your 350 is still up there. Okay, thank you for the super chats. Earl Abraham Kolk, I hear the ANC wants to borrow money. And not from the World Economic Forum. It's, okay, let me cover that now, okay, because I want to cover that news, and I hadn't got to that. So let me get to that. Here we go. Treasury is looking to borrow 27 billion rand from the World Bank. That must be about $1.3 million, or billion dollars, excuse me, not million, yeah, $1 billion, $1 billion. Here you go, that's the story, okay? Treasury in the process of negotiating a new $1.5 billion loan from the World Bank. Several rounds of assessment and negotiation are still required before the loan is secured. They aim to substantially increase its funding from foreign loans in coming years. If the loan is approved, it will significantly boost their plans to increase financing. Okay? World Bank loans are offered at very low interest rates compared to other forms of financing. Yep. So, what are they going to use it for? They're not telling us. So, let me tell you something about this. You ready for this? The World Bank has people have voting rights and special drawing rights. And that's how they approve loans. Who do you think the largest vote holder is in the World Bank? Who do you think has the ability through practical purposes to veto World Bank loans and the IMF? You want to guess? You want to guess who that is? Donald Trump in the United States. Fuck around and find out, ANC. You're not getting any money from the World Bank, buddy. Yeah. No, Ramaphosa is not a businessman. He's a patronage puppy. Joe doesn't understand. Speaking of pilots, Joe doesn't understand how the ANC fails to see the destruction will bring. They don't care. Look, okay, Joe, you have to understand that the ANC thought they could get away with this and no one would pay attention. Also, again, this isn't about EWC. That's the whole thing. So you can understand why the ANC thought they'd get away with it because it's not really about EWC. That's what everyone's talking about. It's about white people. It's not about white people. It's about land. It's not about land. It's about communist control, political control, oppressing your political opponents. That's what this is about. But the real thing it's about beyond that is how they pissed all over the United States national security interests and our national interests. everything they say. I've read the act that was put together in February 6th of 2024, a bipartisan committee of Republicans and Democrats, calling for South Africa to have their relationship reassessed and for them to be removed from AGOA. That wasn't Trump. Trump was fighting lawsuits last year. He wasn't even the president. He was running for office. So it wasn't Trump. And if the ANC doesn't want the United States to take punitive measures, which is coming down the pike, then they need to stop coordinating and collaborating with the Iranian mullahs to develop a nuclear capability in Iran. Simple as that. Freddie loves Jan van Riebeck. Well, BRICS will last as long as China thinks it's a useful tool for them to attack the West. Because BRICS doesn't exist. Somebody show me the economic treaty that gives South Africa duty-free access or reduced tariffs to China. Oh, it doesn't exist. Show me the BRICS treaty for all the countries. Doesn't exist. Can you show me the Mutual Defense Pact? Doesn't exist. Can you show me the coordination and cooperation for visa entry or visa-free entry for members of BRICS? Doesn't exist. It does not exist. It's vaporware. BRICS is a café clutch of disgruntled totalitarian fascist states, except for India, which is the world's largest democracy. Dysfunctional, but democracy. Okay. I said the refugee thing was a ploy to strong-arm South Africa, and you cussed at me and said something. Rat's ass, I wasn't offended. Oh, I didn't cuss at you. Again, if I come after you, it'll be very clear and I'll make it clear. And that's why oftentimes, because people are new to the channel, after I respond and for effect make a statement, I often come back because I know people are relatively new to the channel and I say that's not directed to you. It's at the comment. So I said I didn't give a rat's ass. That's what I probably said. That's colloquialism, America. I don't give a rat's ass. About it being a ploy to strong-arm South Africa. So it's a ploy. You may very well be correct, Amma, but if I recall correctly, and I stand on correction here, you implied or stated that it's a ploy to get South Africa to do something. Correct? I don't recall what it was. So it's hard for me to comment on that, but I didn't cuss at you. I cussed at the comment. And I probably said I don't give a rat's ass because I don't. And I'm glad you weren't offended because it wasn't directed at you. So it's good to see that you were wise enough to pick up on that. Safety officer, national certification for safety works in USA. I don't know. Every state's different. James Bowie. Okay, Niemand. Hi, Chris. Love the show. Big fan. Do you think the USA can investigate the ANC? No. How would we possibly do that? We have no access to the books. I mean, the ANC can't audit itself. How could we possibly audit? People worry about 3% companies here have to give. Currently, corporates give 10% earnings towards corporate social investment, 3% business, 27% tax, and 40% total. Yeah, well, that's less than I pay in taxes as an individual. So I would love to pay just 40% of my income in taxes. If business are only paying 40% total in South Africa, they're doing all right. It's terrible, but they're doing all right. Yeah, the 3% is going to bankrupt. Some people have margins that are very slim. It's going to bankrupt companies. But what they're going to say is it's after tax profit. So after you paid all your tax, you have any profit, then 3% of that. So it's going to be a lower figure than but it's still going to be a lot of money. No, Nobsam Kesey. I don't know where she's at, Chris Ehlers. I have asked that question a couple times in the past week. Someone said whiskey. Guess you have known Jack long enough to call him Jim Daniels. Did I say Jim Daniels? I thought I said Jack Daniels. Play some Boer music, okay? I'm not looking forward to Rand freaking out. Oh, I hear you too. They're just going to stick most of that money they loan into their pocket. Exactly. What happened to the 5.3? Before anybody gives South Africa any money, I want to see the receipts for the $4.3 billion the IMF, the World Bank, gave South Africa in the summer of 2020. The $285 million the African Development Bank gave them. The $1 billion that the new BRICS Bank gave them. $5.6 billion. At the current exchange rate, that's north of 100 billion rand. Where's that money? Where's that money? Anybody know? Does anybody know? Good night, Jenny June. Have a good night. Martini Henry. Why are there no invites from European countries? Exactly. Joan Devanaga, welcome. Most of Europe is flooded by immigrants already. Exactly. Oh, it's swamped. Except for Hungary. Yep. On our memorandum. I see the embassy has reacted on our memorandum. Reacted? No. They just put a post up that said they received it. What do you mean by reacted? What do you mean by that? I don't understand that. Where's it at here? I found it earlier. Did I lose it? Where'd it go? This is all that's out there. Is this what you're talking about when they say reacted? That doesn't mean anything. If you're getting hopes up over this, you need to calm down. U.S. Embassy admission acknowledged petition on South Africa's land policies, and they will transmit the full text of the document to the President and Secretary of State for immediate action. That's it. That's it. It's from 2 hours ago. What do you mean reacted? Is that what you mean? That's a fair statement. They reacted. That's reaction. But, I mean, what are we expecting? That is reaction. Yep. So, I mean, maybe that's what you mean. Okay. Look in Parliament. Can see all the triple chins. The money is in the House. Nancy's pockets. Why is my browser using 2 gigabytes of RAM? I don't know. I mean, why don't you buy a decent browser? What browser are you using? How can I answer that question? See, I mean, I'm as always trolling. I don't know. My browser is currently using Task Manager. My browser is currently using 6.7 gigabytes of RAM, or 13% of my CPU usage. 48% of my RAM use for my browser because I have 50 windows open in my browser in order to bring you the news and broadcast. So I can't answer your question. I'm not in front of your computer. It's possible for President Trump to freeze ANC money around the world. Nope, not possible. They can make life difficult. They're already gray listed. They could also kick them out of the SWIFT system. Neil Maxwell, with President Trump obviously having a lot on his plate and BRICS threat to the dollar now dead, who do you think will keep driving with this? It would be Rubio. Elon Musk has nothing to do with. Why do people think this is Elon Musk? You got to get over that. It's not Elon Musk, okay? He has no role in this. Old bugger, does that mean that 3% will be claimed from the company that holds my pension funds? Now this is worrying me. Yeah, Val, every company has to pay 3% of after tax if this becomes law. Parks Tao put this proposal out there. I call it the 3% black tax. It's immoral, it's unconstitutional, it's racist, and it's hideous. It will destroy this country. Well, that country, South Africa. Yeah, no, every company. It's 3% after tax. You have to put 3% into the slush fund meant to raise $100 billion. They even highlighted this in the State of the Nation address. And then in response to the State of the Nation address, yep. And I told people about it the moment it came out. Yeah, there you go. Erica Suthi saying, clear your cache. I know. There. Oh, are you guys having a problem there too? End the poll. No, I'm there. It let me end the poll. Okay. YouTube's having a problem today. Yep. No, I'm not buffering. The data is. I'm not buffering. Yep. Okay. Thanks for being here, folks. First thing I buy in the US, a Tesla. Good luck with that. I can't afford a Tesla. Enjoy the show. Just want to say South Africa is not all bad. Sassel. Ruan, I never said South Africa is all bad. I'm just putting things into proper context for this conversation for people who are living in rose-colored glasses. No, I love South Africa. Those who know me know that. I wouldn't devote this much of my life. We only have so much time in life. I'm not getting anything from this. I'm not getting wealthy. I'm not really getting famous. Maybe I'm a little bit famous, but fame is not all it's cracked up to be. I've been famous before. Yeah, it's not for that. It's to make a difference in the world. So, I mean, I really put a lot of time in this. So, anyway. Yep. Yeah. So I say great things about South Africa. Go watch my Ruth Constantia video. Please do. It's not YouTube. It's your own device. It's not my device, Pablo. Nope. I refreshed. That was a YouTube glitch. Yep. Where I live, the top of the flame is no more than 3 feet high. No wider than 3 feet. Must have a metal grill. Just press from a friend to a friend. You may prosper and grow. I'd be nice, Em. You're welcome, Ruan. Property values will start dropping. Well, it's not just that. Property values are already going to start dropping the moment they start expropriating property, because who's going to buy property if a cater from the Gauteng or from the Johannesburg City Council wants your house and comes, we have to take this in the public interest, and they expropriate your house. They can do that under the law. And don't listen to people who say they can't. It's true. They can. That's what the law says. Neil Maxwell, did someone piss you off? You sound a bit more pissed than normal. No. Where are you getting pissed from? Went to the Northern Cape province the other day, and I was in a small little town that obviously was in bad decay. Got something to drink at a local shop and found a lot of very poor people sitting. Yep, begging for money. In the shop, I found EFFMPs with a massive load of food and all designer wear and just found it appalling. Yep, and they're not taking care of the poor because they don't care. It's all a scam. Property markets are going to suffer big time. What about Oma biscuit and Simba chutney? What do you think U.S. citizens will enjoy most about having South African neighbors? Nothing. Nothing. Garrett, it's just you. Sound is fine. It's probably the YouTube glitch. Those who are having stream issues, just lower screen resolution. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of buffering. Yeah, I don't know if it's coming out of the U.S. or it's a South African connection. Remember that some of the transatlantic cables are still down in South African. Low property value means low rates and taxes. No, low property value means low interest rates to borrow money. That's correct, to juice the market. It doesn't lower taxes because they're not, tax assessors not coming out reassessing your property. You think they're going to come out and reassess your property? Doesn't work like that. Still buffering a direct link, but on VPN stream good. Wow, I don't do well on VPN. I can't VPN to South Africa. It doesn't work because the connection is never good enough to South Africa. Tesla's going to come under competition soon with an electric car from an African country that can run with endless miles. Good luck with that. We need a plan if we go dark and have no internet. Well, that's true. You always need that. Come on, Chris. They will love the braai. Yeah, I like biltong. Actually, I like Botswana biltong better, but I like biltong. And for years, I never had droevos. I wouldn't eat it. Yes, I'm a Ton Fushir. I don't know what's up with YouTube. It is buggy today, but it was fine this morning. It was fine earlier. It's fine all week. It's not my connection, but there was a problem with my connection earlier. The snow, probably an issue. Something leaked probably somewhere in a facility. But yeah, that's because my internet's working fine over here. So let me just take a look at something very quickly here. There we go. Okay, how are we doing? Are we going to get to 44,000 today? Probably not. Nope, we're way short of 44,000, and it's late in South Africa, so not going to make it. We need 358 to get to 44,000, so not going to make it. Oh, well, such is life. There is extra Dorvos in my bag every trip, just in case I land. Well, I didn't know that, Art, so you just probably eat it, right? Kilometers per hour is so frustrating because it's an incredible country. Where have you been? Where have you been hiding? More blood? Okay. Tesla is trash, somebody said. Nick gave another 10 memberships. We'll invite all my vegan neighbors for a braai. Okay. Freelance Kate. Hey, Freelance Kate. Where you been, man? Where you been? Where you been? Where you been? Obviously, you can eat the cock airline food on the way home. Exactly. By the way, how was your flight? And did our special guest make it to South Africa okay? Did you happen to see where our special guest was going? Man, it is cold in here. My aircon or my heating system is not. I got to crank up the heat today. I usually keep it cold, but I literally have goosebumps on my legs. It's temperature's dropped here precipitously inside the house because it's a damp cold. It's wet. The humidity is high. Ugh. So U.S. Mission Acknowledges petition. Yes, PK. I showed that on the screen 3 times in this broadcast. In fact, just about 10 minutes ago. Ist niemand hier von Schweizer, Freiburg, Delareyville, Afni, war ist my Transvaal homies? Well, I'm not from any of those places. Gas or oil, Chris? It's gas. It's gas, natural gas. Long and noisy. Yes, he was met by police and escorted through room. Yeah, that's what I figured. Oh, he went to G20. I thought he was going for a date. You know, he likes Burmeister too. More bloods from Valhalla. If I'm going, I'll take my receipts book. There you go. Take the receipts. Yeah, so did I. All right. D says, is Pittsburgh a good place to live for a South African? It depends what you like. Pittsburgh's got a leftist wokey vibe about it. It's a Democratic stronghold because of unions, and it's a city that was dying a few decades ago, but the downtown is beautiful again. They built big sports stadiums. The bank, Pittsburgh PNC Bank, is headquartered there, if I'm not mistaken. And the downtown is nice. I know because I've gone there to watch ice hockey. I watched the Penguins play against the Columbus Blue Jackets, and I've been there for a couple times for hockey. And I go past Pittsburgh a lot. I wouldn't live there, but lots of people do. I don't know. Suppose if you're a South African of the ilk of Adrian Basson or Charlize Theron or Dan Corder's not enough for Connor, but if you were like him or Bianca van Wyk, you'd probably love Pittsburgh. Yeah, Arctic, they're better than Joburg. That's true. How do you rate Scott Bessant? I don't really rate him. I haven't seen what he's done so far. So we have to wait and see if he does something. Erica says, you must get homemade eats unless from a shop taking homemade eats. The stuff on the shelf like Uma biscuit tastes awful. I've had proper cooked, sister. I'm not a fan. I can eat brie-bortikis, and I love droevos, and I can do a brie, but I won't eat pop. Nope. You can dream. That's right. I would love in Jackson Hole. You know, let's take a look at what Jackson Hole cost, okay? Let's take a look at Jackson Hole. Jackson Hole real estate. Okay, here we go. Jackson Hole real estate. All right, we'll go to Zillow, which is a pretty reliable site, okay? All right, let's take a look at Jackson Hole. You guys ready for this? You ready? Are you ready for this? Let's get ready to rebel. Recipe book, okay. That's not receipt. You need a missing letter there, okay? Bossy Bossman just gave a super chat of 35 Rand. Thank you for that. I do appreciate that. Let's go to Jackson Hole. Now, you have to understand that Jackson Hole is bounded on the north side by Grand Teton National Park, on the south side by the Bridger Teton National Forest, on the east side by another national forest, and on the west by mountains and then Idaho. And to the south, you have to go through a pass to get to Alpine, which is right on the border. And that was a place where I almost bought property out there. So I know the area. But Jackson Hole, you are correct. You must dream on. This is Jackson Hole, Wyoming, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, Zillow. Little red dots are places for sale. Look, there's a 4-bedroom house for only $7.75 million. So that crappy little house right there, this one here, let's take a look. Oh, actually doesn't look so crappy like that. $7.75 million on Snow King Drive. It looks beautiful there, doesn't it? That would cost you $8 million to live in Jackson Hole in that house. But you get a great view in the middle of nowhere. $8 million. Wow. That's over 50 million Rand. Wow. You saw one for 10 minutes. That's what it looks like outside. Doesn't look very impressive outside. It looks kind of lame. The inside's gorgeous, but the outside does not look impressive. Okay, so that's that one. Now let's go check out this one here. $29.75. $30 million, ladies and gentlemen. 8,000 square feet. $30 million. Wow. But look where it's at. Built in 2002. There's the house right there. Look at that. Got a pond out in front of it. I'd kill to have that, but I don't have $30 million. Apparently they own that piece. That's the land. It cuts along the river there. That's beautiful. 30 million. Now look at that. Oh, look at that. That's my kind of house. I'd love to have that. $30 million. That works for me too, Charles. Look at that. That's just incredible. Look at that kitchen. It's bigger than my house. That is not a painting, ladies and gentlemen. That is the window looking out of the kitchen. Look at that. That's not a painting. Wow. Wow. $30 million. Whew. That's a lot of cash, man. Crazy. Back to search. Okay. So let me find a cheap house. Okay, look at this. This is a 3-bedroom house for $1.5 million. Look at that. See all 30 photos. That is $1.7 million. Are you high? That's like a $100,000 house. And most, now the inside's big. That's why it goes back. But 1.7 million? No, thank you. No, thank you. That looks like a hodgepodge of poor engineering and design. And it looks hideous. No, thank you. $1.7 million. I don't think so. That's a cheapie. Oh, here you go. $375,000. A A-frame house for $375,000. This costs much more than my house costs, and I have a proper house. That's like some outdoor wilderness, grape nuts eating, pine cone chewing weirdo built. Look at that. For $375,000. Wow. Folks, that's about 8 million Rand for that. Yeah, you're right. You might as well live in a hotel. Oh my goodness. That's just crazy. All right. Yeah, it's basically a hunting cabin. Okay. Excuse me. So 30 years hopeless. What's this? Not only is expropriation evil, but it's the most evil underlying consequence. It will muzzle free speech. Exactly. This is a political tool to silence opponents of the state. That's what I've said all along. I've been consistent in that. Peter Smith, welcome. Sorry I missed your membership. Rudy Moore, love Portland. No thanks. It's a woke leftist paradise. 500 million rand. Oh, yeah, that other one was maybe that. Yeah, 30 million, 500 rand. Yeah, exactly. Hope the lotto is better paying. Yeah, the lotto does pay well, but nobody wins it. Just one person. Yeah, I got that wrong. 50 million rand. But the one that was $30 million is going to be a lot more. $30 million is going to be $30 million times 19 is going to cost you 570 million rand. Steve was close. 570 million rand is what that costs. It is beautiful. I don't know that town you're asking me about. Kali Maurit says, okay. Andre, have you ever been to a small town called Great Brock River? I don't recognize it. I may have driven by it. That's very cozy, yes. Dude, I took people to a private island in Bahamas for 24-hour party. 60 million is cheap in the USA. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. I don't know what planet you're living on. See, Arctic, man, he gives me like $10 worth of divorce, and this guy's like a multi-trillionaire flying these rich people around. 18.27 to the dollar. Any date on Evan Barlow? No, Garrett, that won't happen until I come to South Africa. So I'll talk to him when I come to South Africa. Ludwig is proud of the $50,000 apartment. Okay, all right. So that's folks. That is that is Jackson Hole, Wyoming. You need to find squirrel around poses other couches. Yeah, exactly. You got to find that money. Yeah, that $560,000 that the squirrel hid in his sofa at Pala Pala would only have bought one of those houses. And that would have been the A-frame house. You couldn't have bought any of the others. Now, by contrast, let me find a place near me. Lake Mead. Okay, so Lake Mead. Lake Mead real estate, okay? All right, here we go. Let me look at this. Lake Mead, okay? So this will be a little more realistic. This is in East Berlin. This is about a half hour away from me, okay? And I'll show you. All right, here you go. Lake Mead is a lake that's south of my location. There it is in Pennsylvania, okay? And you've got lots where you can buy the lot that are developing by house. But 659,000, 330,000, 570,000, 930,000, 489, 315. But that's a crappy looking 1970s style house. I hate those. 270,000. 289,000 for a ranch, 249, 229, $39,000 for half of an acre. Half of an acre, you pay $40,000. $44,000 for one that's even smaller than that. Wow. And for a little over half an acre, you pay $50,000. It's crazy. See, people, these are places that people never bought. This one here is $32,000 for a third of an acre. Let's take a look at that. Just for the land. It has access to the lake. That's why. Okay. They've dropped the price by $10,000. Ooh, there you go. Let's see the pictures. All right. That's what you get for $39,000. So the property lines are hand drawn for demonstrations. So it's one of these lots. Or is it all three? And that costs you $30-some thousand. Wow. Where's the lake on there? I don't see the lake. That's misleading. I don't see the lake. Oh, that's not there. That's not the lake. That's nearby. That's very misleading. That's not even the property. You don't have access to the lake. That's just nearby. That's disingenuous. Unimproved land. Anyway, that's Lake Mead. So here's another one here. See some of the same houses on sale there. Yep, exact same ones. This one's on the water. So let's look at that. But look how tiny it is. Oh, somebody is Canadian. They got a Canadian flag there. So let's see. All right. See how they got a Canadian-American flag sewn together? Yep, right on the water. The house is right up there. That's that little one in the middle, crappy one there. Right there. Look at that. Look at that tiny little thing. This was, what, $1 million, I think it was? Look at that. Look at how poorly they take care of it. I don't know if you can see that on here, but on the side over here is the propane tank, and these people don't even clean their propane tank. Look at this. It's covered in mold. On the left-hand side here, where my mouse is zipping around there, right there. Look at how moldy that is. Look at how poorly maintained this lot is. My goodness. I wouldn't want to buy a house if somebody maintained it that poorly. That's disgusting. They have a deck, and it leads out to the water. Now, that looks nice inside. That's pretty cool, but I don't like that arch roof. But they have a nice decorator. That looks really good. Now that's a nice view out the side there. So someone planned this well where they're going to put it. Kitchen is big, but it's in part of the living room. But whoever took these photographs wasn't very smart. They took photographs with a wet sink. You don't take a wet sink and put it online for real estate. Big bedroom. Big shower there. And a tub. Another bedroom. Anyway, that one is $659,000. That's crazy. Looks like a shack, exactly. Just remember, you have to get your qualifications carried over and register with about 20 agencies and insurance companies. Yep, correct. And always a house inspected. Black mold is a thing. Yep. Just a decent low-cost house in good areas. Well, you can find those. I'm not trying to frighten you off, but you can find those. But I mean, I can find really cheap houses in South Africa too. Land runs about $16,000 to $25,000 an acre, depending where you're at. Yeah, it depends. You can go out to Montana and get stuff for $1,200 an acre, but you know, there's nothing on it. It's in the middle of nowhere. There's no roads. It's not improved, so it's useless. Does that lake get frozen over? I believe that one does. Yes. Riverside property, Flint, Michigan. You can have that one. Okay. All right. I find people that move to the U.S. and still fly here to their previous country flag really dumb and cringe. Don't you move to the U.S. if you want to represent? Napoleon Dynamite, to be clear on that, that's probably a Canadian national who has a vacation home or a summer home in the United States. And that's probably what we're talking about here. I'll bet you dollars to donuts that's what we're talking about. So if you're a Canadian national and you're here in the United States visiting or, you know, residing temporarily, there's nothing wrong with having your flag up. I do think it's a bit gauche to fly your flag in another person's country unless it's like for a sporting event or something like that, or, you know, that's different. But to go to a country and reside there or stay there and then fly your home flag, that's a little bit, you know, that's something they accuse Americans doing all the time. Yep. Okay. Used to buy old houses and fix them. Oh, okay, cool. Okay. Squatting looks attractive. Yeah, exactly. The 26,000, Matthew, is undeveloped, which means there's nothing on the property. It's just woods, and you have nothing on it. So, important to note that. Just noticed something on my mouse here. I'm trying to clean it off. Anyway, yeah. So that's undeveloped. That's just that's zoned for residential, but there's nothing on it. Okay. Yako Kruger wants to know, do you know how much? I don't know what we're talking about. Should probably be looking more at rentals. Yeah, exactly. Well, I can show you rentals. Let's do this. I'll get rentals for Carlisle. Carlisle rentals. Because you're right, you're not going to be buying houses. Carlisle rentals. Okay? Rental listings in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Okay? Apartments for rent. Trulia. Let's go to Zillow. Okay? You ready for this? All right, here you go. So, Carlisle, Pennsylvania, which is right down the road from me, where I went to the War College. These are rental properties available, and I'll show you. Actually, that one doesn't look too bad, but it's one bedroom. So one bedroom will cost you for one bedroom in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, not exactly the center of the world, $1,445 times 19. 27,500 Rand per month is what your rent is on this one bedroom apartment. 27,500 Rand per month. All right, and this isn't New York City. One bedroom. Lovely, though, isn't it? That's the bedroom. Look how tiny the bedroom is. That cost you 27, and that's what you're in. You're in that development. So you live in these were just built, by the way. I know where this is. It's down the road from the post office by the fire department. In fact, the fire department is just down the street, a block away, to the left-hand side there. This was all open field and wasteland. They just turned this into apartments a couple years ago. These are brand new. So that will cost you 27,000 Rand per month to stay there. What's the average income? Well, I'll get you the per capita income of Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Okay, in 2023. $64,000 a year. Medium in the borough is 59. So we'll say $60,000 a year. So 60,000. But remember that from 60,000 you pay taxes. You don't get 60,000. You pay Social Security. You pay Medicare tax. That's 17% of your income plus whatever your tax bracket. That's going to put you probably in the 10% tax bracket. So the 27% of that's gone. So, excuse me, let's start with 60,000, okay, times 0.27, well, 30, because you got to pay 3% tax to Pennsylvania. So 60,000, I hope that's 600,000, 60,000 times 0.03, 30% of your income. No, that's not right. That's 3%. 60,000 times 0.3. All right, so 18,000 is gone from taxes before you see anything minimum. So now you go from 60 to 42,000. From the 42,000, you have to take out that rent. That rent was about 1,500 a month. 1,500 a month times 12, okay, equals 18,000. So 42,000 minus 18,000 equals $24,000. Now, from your $60,000 a year, you have $24,000 a year. Bear in mind that everything you purchase in the store has a 6% sales tax on it, except some items like clothing and food, but not ready-made food. I'm talking about food from a grocery store. Petrol has 58 cents per gallon tax on it. My cable bill is $300 a month. So that is $3,600 a year. So for the $24,000, if you have my cable package minus $3,600, that leaves you with $20,400. My electric bill was averaging $150 a month. That is $1,800 a year minus $1,800. That is $18,600. So now that's the electric, that's the internet. My phone bill is $100 a month, so minus another $1,200 for my mobile phone. That is $17,400. Okay, groceries for one person cost me about $600 a month minimum. So that is another $7,200 minus $7,200. If I never go out to eat, I'm down to $10,200. I have to pay for car insurance for my car, which costs me $100 a month, and a very good deal because I'm a safe driver. Most people pay much more than that. So it's about $100 a month. That's another $1,200. So minus my car insurance, and I'm down to $9,000 from $60,000. I don't have to have life insurance, Martin, but if you get life insurance, it depends on your age. If you're 25, life insurance is cheap. If you're 60, life insurance is expensive. So that's not really a factor I can put in here because I don't need life insurance. So I pay natural gas, which runs me on average across the year about $100 a month. So that's minus another $1,200. And now we're down to $7,800. I haven't gone to dinner. I haven't gone to a movie. I haven't gone to a ball game. I haven't flown anywhere. I haven't gone to Disney World. We're down to $7,800. And that is a conservative estimate because I probably missed taxation and other things that are missing out of there. So I'm down to $7,800. Okay. From the $7,800, what's left? Medical insurance. I have to pay for medical insurance. It's going to cost me more than that. So I have no money left. It's all gone. All gone. $60,000 gone. So someone who makes $60,000 can't live in that apartment. They can't afford that. So they're going to find something cheaper. So let's go find something cheaper. Okay. All right. And these are conservative numbers, folks. People live much more extravagantly than I'm telling you. Here's one for $2,195 for 2 bedrooms. Okay. All right. The cheapest one I'm finding here is $1,000 a month. Yep. $1,200, $1,100, nothing. Oh, here's $800 for 2 bedroom. Okay. $800. That's the cheapest one I found. But here's rent for $2,800 a month. The rent is more than my mortgage. I'm buying a house and I pay less than that. Okay, so this is one that's $800 a month. This is what you get for an $800 a month rental. 2 bedrooms, 1 bath. And that's it. That's what they show you. They don't want to show you anything else. They don't want to show you the neighborhood or anything else. That is $800 a month. That is $10,000 a year, folks. $10,000 a year. All right? All right? Does that help? South African family living in the Caribbean. We currently living in $50,000 a year before tax, and it gets really tight for family through Chris is not exaggerating about taxes. Nope, Chantel, I'm not exaggerating. I'm not trying to frighten people, but you see numbers, you go, woo, well, wow. I mean, you can live like a king. That's why if I lived in South Africa, I would live like a king. Like a king. Here, I'm middle class, maybe. Need community coffee shops. Well, there's coffee shops in Carlisle, but they're not walking distance unless you live near a Starbucks. But you live downtown, and that's a very depressed area. You probably find stuff cheaper. Now, I'll tell you, you can find places dirt cheap, but dodgy neighborhoods, unsafe, home break-ins, violence, drug dealing. I mean, you'll find that in cities all over. You can find cheap places. But these days, you're not going to find rent less than about $800, even in a cheap place. Usually it's $1,000 or more per month. Oh, yeah, Disney World's $500 a person per day. We talked about it earlier, Arctic. I think you weren't here. It's $206, $209 a day per ticket per adult. Two adults, $412, $418. Then you've got the kiddies for $170 a day. Then you got a little breakfast with Snow White to $120. The little lightsabers, $40. Soft drink, $15. Hotel, airfare. We're talking $6,000 to take a family down there for a week. It's insane, or more. Okay. I'm not scared to work. Okay, I have a 3-bedroom house, double garage and pool, and 600 meters, and I pay $1,000 a month. Well, Sharkies, that is of no value to me whatsoever. Do you live in Alaska? Do you live in New Mexico? Where do you live? Ultimately, it's comfort over preserving one's life. Yep. Country is usually cheaper than city. Usually, Michelle. But you also have to have a car because you're out in the middle of nowhere. It has to be a reliable car. By the way, if anybody tries to buy the Mercedes, let me know. You don't leave South Africa for money. You leave for a better life. Exactly, Stefan. But people seem to have this impression about things that is incorrect, and I'm trying to explain to you. What's the price on caravan parks? Bossy Bossman has a sir with a question mark. Why do you have a question mark, Bossy? I don't see any comments from you. No comments. Oh, there it is. So it will be almost impossible for us to survive. No. First off, you don't go to Disney World. You hopefully have skills that will get you a high-paying job. If you don't, then you're going to have to work in an industry where you make enough to get by, and you're going to have to live very frugally. But you're not going to have creature comforts. This is why South Africans actually think they might have domestics here. Good luck with that. That's for the people that live in the Upper West Side of Manhattan. Cheaper the hotel, less you get. Don't even have a kitchen. It's bad for everyone in South Africa. Donkey cart. Populists with the Cape Independence become richer in it. Nope. Yes, most homes have central heating and aircon. Yes, that's the norm. Unless your home is really old, even then they tend to have installed some kind of air conditioning. Now I understand why people build out stealth campers. I left to what the U.S. considers a second world country and live way better than I did in the U.S. What's the second world country that we're talking about, Alice? Are you unwilling to tell us? No income tax, very high sales tax, and property tax. Tennessee? Yeah, my son lives in America. He's a truck driver. Works hard, but they live well. Relaxed people will survive. Goodness, man. Going to visit the colonel, bring my tent. I will charge you for the tent because I have to pay property tax. It costs me a lot of money each month to live here. In addition to my mortgage. Actually very spoiled in South Africa. Yeah, that's the point that I think some people are trying to make here. Not me, but some people are trying to make it. Somebody just sent me a message here. Okay. No. Okay, that's not it. Major victory for Republicans. I don't know what that is. Okay. Become an Amish Amerikaner. There you go. How is a crime? Well, again, T, how can I answer a question like that? The crime is not like South Africa, anywhere in America. I don't have a problem with crime here. We have local police. I never see them. They're out patrolling occasionally, but I never see them. There's never been one police call report in my neighborhood. There's been one fire department report here. That was electrical fire. When the electricians were there working on it, that's when the fire started. House up in the corner. And that was a year and a half ago. Some of you might remember that. I went out live and covered that when the fire was happening. I went outside. But that's it. I've never seen an ambulance. Well, once an ambulance has come in my neighborhood in 9 years. Once. A gentleman had a stroke. That's it. I've left the keys in my door, not now, but when I was still in the Army, I'd come home tired from work and leave them in the door. Yeah, I don't have domestic, okay? Well, I do all my own stuff, too. So my mother sold a house in Connecticut, moved to North Carolina. She had Alzheimer's, or ALS, ulterior lateral sclerosis, Lou Gehrig's disease. And apartment prices there are insane in some parts. Yeah, North Carolina is way overpopulated. It's too expensive. I think if you've been a victim of crime, any place is safer. Probably. Well, it's very safe here, T. Yep. I wouldn't live in Chester, Pennsylvania. In fact, when I go down to the stadium down there on occasion, I'm very careful when I'm driving in the neighborhood to be prepared not to stop and act like I'm in Hillbrown because it's very dangerous. Gunfire rings out there frequently. Adele DeFree says, wow, what are you saying wow about? Is the school syllabus the same, meaning we have to leave here and my kids can carry on the same grades? They'll be evaluated when they get here, and we'll find out. In most cases, kids come abroad, they typically wind up around the same. But our system is very different than yours, so you have to bear that in mind. But most kids that come from overseas are fine. The school system around here, are very good. That's because I pay a lot of taxes. They have very good schools. Yep. Those dig for gold properties. No idea what you're talking about there. About 50, 60 cents every local municipal budget goes most likely to the police department. Well, that's municipal, but I have a township. And for the township, the police are a small percentage of the budget. Most of the township's money goes to road maintenance and repairs and things like that and bridges. Yeah. How is Michigan? It's okay, Stephen. You can repeat that because I didn't answer the question. So you're not spamming me. I saw it. I just didn't get a chance to get to it. Yeah, I was going to go skiing today, but it's too wet and cold. Curriculum is very different, but kids generally adjust quickly. Correct, especially if they're younger. What does health insurance cost? Well, Rudy, if you work for a company, you typically get health insurance. If you're dirt poor, you get free insurance at my expense. It depends. My health insurance is very affordable, but then it's all fraud. I wasn't supposed to pay health insurance. I came in the Army, and I'm entitled to, the rest of my life, if I retire, free health care from the military. That's what's supposed to be the case, and the government reneged on it because they're cheap bastards. And so I have to pay insurance every year. If you're single, it's very cheap, but you have co-pays, and my medical facility nearby for the military doesn't provide most services. So almost every time I need health care, I have to pay something. To be fair, it doesn't cost a whole lot, but it shouldn't cost anything. I spent 36 and a half years in the uniform, and most of my ailments are a consequence of military service, so it should be free. Now, to be fair, I can switch to the Veterans Administration where I'm qualified. I'm a disabled veteran, and I have 100% health care. They'll take care of everything except my eyes and my teeth, which is ironic. That they don't take care of. But everything else they'll take care of, and that costs me nothing. So at some point, I'll switch over that. But it's inconvenient because it's further away. Yeah, so healthcare is very expensive because the system is perverted by Obama, and it's a shame. It's a matter of making your home less desirable. Exactly. Gates are nothing, even electric fence. People are putting automated paintball turrets up. Grand Rapids is lekker. Michigan. Oh, questions about Michigan. Michigan does nothing for me. Nothing at all. It's beautiful, especially the Upper Peninsula and the northern part of Michigan. The peninsula, it's nice. But Detroit does nothing for me, and the state generally doesn't do anything for me. But it's nice. People like it there. It's close to Canada. Wisconsin's nice, but Wisconsin, Michigan, and Minnesota all have a bunch of leftists in their governments, and they ruin the places. Kentucky's beautiful. Yeah, it's lovely, Kentucky. Unfortunately, Mitch McConnell's from there, but Kentucky's a beautiful place. Yep. Seems you do not live here. Also employing people who need jobs does not make you a bad person. Huh? I want a wooden cabin in the middle of nowhere. Well, that's what the Unabomber had. Arctic says Wisconsin is cock. No, it's not. Have you been to the Wisconsin Dells? Beautiful. Alaska. Oh, Alaska is beautiful. You want to talk expensive? Alaska is butt expensive. T has a friend in Florida. Well, that's nice. Yaku Kruger. Kentucky is super cool for families, says Arctic. Listen to Arctic. He's the expert on America now. Well, you're going to be driving somewhere no matter where you live in America. Unless you live in Manhattan, you're going to be driving everywhere. That's just how life is. You can't live in Atlanta without a car. It's impossible. Unless you want to ride around on buses. No, you have to have a car in America. You have to drive everywhere. It's such a big country. Everywhere looks beautiful if you're from a South African city. Alaska is a real challenge. They're not like the lower 48. No, it's kind of like Canada in many respects. Why does Memphis, Tennessee look a third world country? It doesn't. It doesn't. What are you talking about? Memphis looks a third world country. I've been to Memphis. I got family down there. Looks fine. Every city's got bad neighborhoods. You heard of Hillbrow? You heard of the Cape Flats? Destin from Smarter every day from Kentucky, Alabama, real friendly people. I have no idea who that is. Just remember time zones, guys. We don't have that down here. Well, that's true. It's 4:30 here, but in Chicago it's 3:30. In Denver it's 2:30, and in San Francisco it's 1:30. In Alaska it's probably 12:30, and I think it's 6 hours difference in Hawaii, so it would be 10:30 in the morning there, roughly. A Silverado. Do you know what a Chevy Silverado cost? Chevy Silverado. See, I'm not trying to fair people, but you all got to have realistic stuff. I know you're joking around. 2025 Chevy Silverado 1500 pickup. They start at $37,000 with nothing in them. 37,000 times 19. That is 703,000 Rand. That is the base price. Then you have to pay the 6% sales tax, okay, times 0.06. That's, wait, that's not right. Divided by, I did it wrong. 703,000 divided by 0.06. I did that wrong. That's times, yeah. Why did it come out wrong? Times 0.06. Okay, there we go. So that's 42,000 Rand. So that's 750,000 Rand for that. Here, if you buy that in Washington State, it's 10% tax. Plumbers do make good money. So do HVAC technicians. So do electricians. Yep. Thoughts on Texas? Hot, dusty, and full of illegal aliens. Not of interest to me. Big state, friendly state, but a state in flux. Restore a barn. There you go. Leandra Cecilia Highness. Thank you for your chat. You're very welcome. Have a good night. Okay, how much for a Harley? I have no idea. You can look it up. Okay. Texas is open carry. For booze? For booze? Oh, YouTube's playing up again. Boy, these guys. I'm really frustrated by YouTube tonight. Let me try to open it again over here. Okay. Yes and no, Nico. It depends. Independent truck drivers are really squeezed badly by all the federal regulations that have been applied to them. Some work for some companies do make good money, but most truck drivers work really, really hard for a wage that's above average. But when you figure out how much time and energy they put into it and the damage it does to their back and their lives, you have to question if it's really worth it. One of my co-hosts is a truck driver, and he can tell you, my mother was in the trucking industry. My stepfather was a truck driver, and long-haul truck driving, semis coast to coast, and it's very, very wearing. But there are jobs for truck drivers. In fact, many of our truck drivers are foreign nationals. A lot of who are those guys? One's from India with the turbans. I'm drawing a blank right now. A lot of them are Sikhs. A lot of Sikhs are in the truck industry here in America for some reason. No, Texas is not difficult. You don't speak Spanish. No, I disagree, Arctic. Even San Antonio, which is full of Spanish people, it's fine. You don't have to speak Spanish. Sikhs, yep, Hendo. All right. Trailer park. I don't know. I haven't lived in a trailer park since I was 4 years old. Cousin lives in California, works in tech, wife and teacher. Even they could barely afford rent without roommates. Yep. Well, Andre, it depends what your definition of hillbilly is. Okay. All right. Okay, guys. So, wow, we've been at this for 2.5 hours. Let's wrap it up here on a Saturday. I'll see you guys tomorrow unless something breaks. I might make a video tonight about the events today, but I'm probably going to take a little break here. Thanks a lot for being here. I would hope that people are coming here for more than just, pimping me for advice about living in America, because that's not what the channel's about. I'm happy to answer your questions because events going on now and entertain those stories. But we're here to talk about news and events, analysis, and on a night owls have a good time. That's why I entertained that tonight, talking about this stuff. Bunch of poor blokes here in South Africa, says T. Amanda, someone just asked that question. I just said I don't have an answer. Charles says, I'm new here. Do tell much experience you've had. Okay, well, I'll stay for that a little bit longer then, Charles. How much experience I've had in South Africa? Would you rather know how much experience I've had in Africa? Spent 36.5 years in the Army, 34 in active duty, 23 overseas, multiple combat tours, served in Bosnia, in combat in Africa, in the Middle East, Gulf War. I served 3 tours of duty in Germany, 1 in Italy. In Africa, I was stationed in Tunisia, Liberia, Botswana, Malawi, Niger, Mauritania, Uganda, and Ethiopia. I've been to South Africa hundreds of times. I go there every so many months to do a trip to do reporting and research, write, give lectures, meet people, meet and greets, and do a little tourism, I suppose, in there too. So your question was about me in South Africa. So I'm a historian, educated. I have multiple degrees, not boasting. I have an associate degree, a bachelor's degree, a few master's degrees. I've studied international political economy, cultural anthropology, strategic studies, international relations. I'm a political scientist as well, an energy industry analyst, a rugby enthusiast. How much experience I have in South Africa? Well, I have a lot of experience in South Africa. I've been there many, many times. Worked with the SANDF, worked with the government, worked with private industry, worked with NGOs. Yep. I've been to every province in South Africa. I've never been to Kruger National Park. Doesn't really float my boat. So there you go. You're welcome, guys. Okay. You're welcome, Kai. Okay. If I've got a passport, can I stay in South Africa as a refugee? Well, if South Africa grants a refugee status from somewhere, sure. That's up to them. Lovable and kind people, okay? You're very welcome, Tim Martins. You're a legend. Thank you, Andre Ritz. Very kind of you. All right, guys, that's going to do it. Hit the like button. Thanks for the super chat revenue. I really appreciate that. You guys have a good night. You guys are awesome, too. And Ami, you still here? Thanks for being in the chat. Okay. Don't come to the Air Force Museum unless you're depressed. You're talking about the South African. Go to the Air Force Museum at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. It rocks. It's incredible. It's really cool. I just wish I had a better camera when I was there because the pictures weren't that great. And it's a long way to go just to go to the museum. All righty. That's going to do it. Cheers, everybody. I'm going to leave you with this. Well, no, I'm not going to leave you with. You guys have seen this before. I'm just going to close out so we can get out of here. All right. Cheers. Thanks a lot for being here. And we'll catch you tomorrow unless something breaks. I'll update the groups tonight that there's no update. All right. Thank you very much. Thanks, everybody. And I'm looking for something very specific. Cheers.